But with that being said, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Deadhead Podcast, episode 41, where we'll be talking about Persona 3 Reload. Now, there's a few caveats to that, so we'll get into that in a minute. But before we get into that, Jan, how's it going, man?
Well, thanks for asking. I've been having a pretty good Sunday, pretty chill Sunday. Of course, there's one big problem which you just talked about, you just mentioned, and that is the big caveat of this episode is that we are to talk about Persona 3 Reload, even though I haven't played it, and the reason why I haven't played it is because I didn't get the game. Usually, the only reason why you would ever shop at GameStop, right, is because usually over the course of the years is when I would pre-purchase, or how do you say, pre-order a game,
Pre-order, yeah.
yeah, on GameStop, I would get it early. Well, I mean, they
Hmm.
try to ship it so you get it on day one, but I'm guessing that like the how do you say it, the storehouse, the stores, the warehouse where they have all their things must be really close to the city I live, because I've
Hmm.
been getting them one day early sometimes,
Hmm.
and that's the only reason why I shop at them. Well, this time, not only did not get it early, I got it late. In fact, I still haven't gotten it. They shipped it on day one, and it was a Friday, right?
Hmm.
And of course, it didn't come through on Saturday, and today's Sunday, and there's no mail, so I'm guessing getting it tomorrow, which
Yeah.
sucks because Dylan and I know we actually had a pretty, and we are pretty ambitious about the promotion of this episode. I got the iGest edition, right, the big collector's one. I wanted to do an unboxing. Dylan would upload it to the channel. I was planning on making like a shit ton of cool screenshots, and add, I don't know, something witty about them on a post. Say something like, "Oh yeah, well, so I guess this is the route they took to adapt this, that, and the other." But it all came to nothing because
Right.
GameStop, as always, fuck GameStop. Am I right, guys?
Yeah.
All my
Yeah.
homies hate GameStop.
Yeah,
Uh,
they're definitely trash. So you just to reiterate what you just said to the people, you got the collector's edition of
I,
Persona
I
3
have,
Reload?
yeah, that's right,
So how much did
the
that
the
run
big
you?
one.
Because I haven't looked at the prices of that. How much was that?
Okay, so it is the most expensive game
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I've bought to date. I usually
Good
don't I
lord.
don't go over 2 digits. Usually, I don't go through over 2 digits, no matter how nice the edition is. That's like something, a little rule I keep to myself, right? But at this game, man, it just a game that I love so much, and this is the first time since I got into it way after it came out. Any of its versions came out. I thought I'd never get the chance of getting a full collector's edition on day one, which is when they're the cheapest, right?
Hmm.
So I said, what the hell? And it's my birthday this month, so I guess it's like a birthday present to myself. It cost me 198 euro. That's
Ooh.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's over $200.
Yeah, I was gonna
When
say
you
because I when I was doing price checks on because I was like, if I was to get it for PS5, I was like, well, I know Jan said he was gonna get it physical. I was like, well, if I'm gonna get it, maybe I'll get this one physical. Just because I've been buying a lot of my games digital, but I was reason why I asked you that was I kind of knew that number because in the states here, I think I saw $200 as well, and I was
yeah,
like, yeah, man, that's. I mean, look, if this is your
dude,
franchise, it makes sense. But it's like, yeah, no, I can't do that.
dude, and it's good value. You actually got some pretty good stuff in there. You get an art book, and I love my art books. I got a bunch of them lined up on a wall. You get
Hmm.
the soundtrack, the full fucking soundtrack. Sometimes, especially Square Enix, like with Final Fantasy, they have like soundtrack CDs in their special editions or deluxe or elite or whatever you want to call them.
Hmm.
But it's only like 6 or 7 tracks.
Right.
With this one, no, it's like 2 discs, the whole fucking soundtrack, and I couldn't wait to blast that at a party. Someone passes me the aux cord. I fucking anyhow.
Oh
I
my
mean,
god.
dude, come on, you played Summit. You know the Persona soundtrack is fire, as you can say. It's hella litty.
It's
On
yeah,
God.
I'll give more of my thoughts on that here in a minute. But yeah, no, I get what you're
Yeah.
saying. I get what you're saying. Yeah, that's unfortunate here. That was definitely that was one of the caveats that I had that I was gonna that
Hmm.
I was gonna bring up to you guys was one, Jan has not been able to play the remake. So a lot of the remake opinions are gonna be on my side of things. Jan's gonna be able to fill a little bit of the blanks in. The other caveat is, and I think you guys probably already know without me saying it, is that I don't know shit about Persona at all. Like I've never played this series before. I've always just considered it anime, and I'm just not a
Mhm.
huge anime guy. I have tried. I can honestly say I watched the first 12 episodes of Attack on Titan. I've watched a couple episodes of Death Note. I've seen a couple episodes of Naruto.
You're
My
reading
cousin,
One Piece?
yeah, I'm reading One Piece. I've my cousin, he passed away a couple years ago. God rest his soul. He was really into like animes like Fairy Tail, Ruby, things like that. I watched some of those with him. I just cannot get into anime. I have really tried to put in the
That's fair.
time. I can't do it. And so I, with Persona, that's what I saw, like the visuals and things like that. And this goes with like Persona 5, not Reload, but like Persona 5, 4, anything like that. I'm like, it just looks like anime to me. And it's like I'm just
Right.
not really into that. So we're going into this kind of weird, because Jan hasn't played the remake, and I've never played the series before, and this is my first entry in it. So it'll be an interesting episode. So I appreciate you guys checking this one out. I'm sorry. I'm sure Jan is the same way. I apologize on my behalf. I have not advertised that well this week. I have been so busy and stressed beyond my wildest dreams. I haven't made content on the channel. The Deadhead 96 channel is a ghost town. I haven't put a video out in probably 2 weeks now, I believe. Yeah, I think it says 2 weeks. Yep. 2 weeks since I put the last video out. I haven't really done many advertising. So if you're here, it's just because you like us and you're just interested to hear our thoughts on it. So thank you guys for checking us out. And I apologize, and I will try to do better on that going forward. It's just been, I was telling Jan through private message, it's just been a lot going on. Nothing really bad per se. It's just a lot that's really taking up my time right now. I have been playing games though. I have been playing games, so I've had some time to play some games, which is always good. But like it's just been a lot. Games has been just a truly an escape more than ever here lately. And so I got my hands on Persona 3 Reload, thanks to that good old boy Game Pass. Xbox came through,
Yep.
and
Came in clutch.
I got some thoughts on it. So thank you guys for checking us out. And with that being said, Jan, you ready to talk about Persona 3 Reload?
Let's rock and roll.
Yeah. So I guess since I'm the only one, I played it.
Yeah, you should start definitely. No, I want to hear
ahead.
everything you have to say about it. I'm super
So-
curious.
Yeah. So I actually played it. Honestly, unfortunately enough, I played it at midnight. And I remember before I
There you
played it
go.
at midnight, we were talking through private message, and Jan told me that it honestly, I told him I was going to play it at midnight. He's like, "Oh, it kind of, that kind of fits the
Yeah.
game. I'm not going to tell you why, but just, play it and just let me know." And I'm like, "Okay." So I played it like a few minutes after midnight, and makes complete sense considering how
Right.
the game starts out. And very creepy vibes, it had a very more of a creepy vibe than what I was expecting, because I didn't know what to expect going into it. But I was playing it late enough to where like it was kind of dark and very quiet in my house. So
Ooh.
there's a character, and I don't know his name yet. You might know it, but I don't care if you spoil it or not. There's this young boy character that you come into contact with at the beginning, and he's like saying some really vague crap to you, and it's like super spooky the way he's talking. I don't know how it is in the originals. I don't know how creepy he sounds.
Well, I mean,
But
Dangerous Love, the original, it's kind of corny, but in
is
an
it?
iconic way. Time waits for no one. He takes our loss from the same
Yeah.
man. You can't
He's-
just close your eyes and shut everything out.
yeah, he does. Yeah, he does say that. Yeah, but it sounds a bit more sinister here, and I
Okay,
was
that's
surprised. I
good.
was surprised that, like, for me at least, you might still play, be like, man, this is some corny ass shit. Like, what was Dylan talking about? But to me, it surprised me that it was as sinister as it seemed. So, but yeah, so I'm trying to think, where do I start here, because
I mean, you started pretty well. First
it's
impressions.
so many thoughts. All right, so let me go up by saying this. I don't hate the experience so far. I'm
Okay.
roughly 6.5 hours, almost 7 hours into the game. I've got up to floor 22
Okay.
at Tartarus.
Okay.
So I've done a good bit of grinding. I want to say that my character, because you get to name your you could name your character.
Yeah,
and
you
then,
can name a character. That's like in
um,
every Persona game.
yeah, I kept it simple. I was gonna name him like something inappropriate, like really inappropriate, but I decided not to. And
Well, like
instead,
Mike Cox or something like that.
I did actually. I did. Mike Coxmall. I was thinking about doing that, but I didn't do it. Instead, I just went with my Anakin Grimes. I went with that name again, like I did in
Okay.
Hogwarts Legacy, and I got to level, like I said, I think level 22 at Tartarus. I think his highest level right now, like my character's level, is at like a 12. I think 12 or 13. So I've done a little bit of grinding. I like the turn-based combat. I do like
Oh
it.
yeah. Well, that's an
Yeah,
achievement
it
considering
took
how much
me.
you bash it usually.
Oh, I don't bash turn-based
Okay,
combat.
you don't bash it, but
I
you
just
know you're
don't.
pretty
I just
hard on
don't.
it.
I just don't. Well, not even that. I don't really play turn-based games as much as I used to. I used to like
Mhm.
Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy X was my
Oh,
shit.
that's
I
true.
love Final Fantasy X. 12 was kind of turn-based, but it has like a little bit different of a
Yeah.
combat system. And those are games that I played a lot growing up. And then, you know, of course, you got like the original Final Fantasy VII. I mean, you got, and then once prior to that. So I've been susceptible to this type of combat before, but I just took a break. I've been more of like just, especially here lately. I mean, you guys are not anything new to it. I know Jan's been hearing it from me a lot. I've just been very action heavy. I like action heavy games right now. I don't want to play survival horror, which, by the way, as a sidebar, I finished the Silent Hill
Oh,
I did finish
you
that, by the way.
the short message. Or
Yeah,
whatever?
we can kind of come back to that
We
towards like the end
definitely
if you
can.
want.
Yeah, sure.
You know, so I got some thoughts on that. But yeah, so I just did that this morning, and it was, you know, I'm not into like horror games as much right now. Like I just like
Mhm.
any kind of survival horror. I'm like, man, get this trash out of here. I just want to just kill people. I just want to
Fair
have
enough.
destruction, you know? And so anyway, it was kind of refreshing to go back to turn-based. It was refreshing
Mhm.
to be able to kind of be, I don't want to say that like for instance, like with Cyberpunk's an RPG, but at the end of the day, it is still pretty action heavy. You know, it is, you know, and
Mhm.
not that it's like mindless. It's not like Call of Duty or something like that, but you know, it's a bit more like on the fly. Like if I sit here, if I'm gunning
Yeah, an
down
action
somebody over
RPG.
here, I can sit here and hack a camera over here that can set this bomb off over here and distract them, come around, jump off the rooftop, come down on a guy. Like it has strategy, but it's turn based. You can't get much more strategy than turn based, because turn based you have to take your time. There's status effects, right? We talk about status effects all the time, like especially with Final Fantasy 16. I think me and you, especially me, I think we're a bit more lenient on Final Fantasy 16. I believe we're a bit less harsh than everybody else, because everybody else is like Final Fantasy 16 is like the
Raw dogging it.
combat's
Yeah.
trash. They're saying that the cutscenes are too long, which is also like not true, because I forgot what I was playing recently, but I'm like, so nobody's complaining about this, but Final Fantasy 16 has long, but whatever. Anyway, but like we said all that stuff, but one of the things that we said is that we missed status effects. We missed having like, you know, if you had an enemy who was resistant to fire damage but was weak to frost damage and things like that. And so it's kind of refreshing to go back to
Oh,
this.
like you mean like weaknesses, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, like,
abilities,
yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Any kind of status effects, like, you know, yeah, like
Mhm.
confuse, you know, anything like that, like a freeze in place, like an enemy stuck in place and can't move, or you can knock them down or make them dizzy, and then your damage is multiplied times 2 or
Right,
whatever, you
right.
know. And it was good to go back. So what I'm trying to say, I know it's long winded. It was good to have that combat back, and I was actually really enjoying it. It's super flashy, for the most part. And I like all the personas. I think I have like six different personas right now, because your main character, as you know, has many different personas.
Yeah,
Everyone
he's a wild
else,
card.
yeah, everyone else in C's, the group that you're a part of to take on the shadows, they all have their own persona, and then you can have like up to 6. I mean, you can have as many probably as you want. I don't know if there's like an actual limit on how many you can have, but you can have more
There's
than
a limit
one.
you can
So,
have at once. Like the limit you come to the stock, and in the original, it grew as you progressed.
oh, okay.
Like at the very most, you could have 12.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, I got a lot. I mean, like at least 6 or 7, and I've actually, again, let me know if this features. It probably is, but you know how you can mix two different personas and then you can
Fusion.
combine.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. I've done that like twice. So now don't ask me which ones I have. I know I got one named Angel. I know that one.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
got the
Yeah, hard to forget that one, is it?
I got and then I got the starter persona, whatever one that
Orpheus?
is. Yeah. But the other ones I could not tell you. I'd have to look them up. But I
That's
had
cool.
one that looks like a. I will get back to the other stuff. I had one that kind of looks like a blood drop. Do you know what I'm talking about? It kind of looks like
Oh, yes. One of
it
the
looks like a,
Mitamas. Yes,
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
He sucks
Agi
ass.
Mitama, I think. Oh, does
Yeah,
he?
he sucks ass. I mixed him with somebody else and got something else because I was like, he kind of sucks. But
And he looks silly as hell too.
yeah, yeah, he does. But yeah, no, all in all, man, I like the combat, and it is satisfying for the most part. I'm not gonna say it's like the most satisfying combat I've ever played of all time, but it is fun and the different combinations. And man, when you really can start dealing some major damage,
Yeah.
it's awesome, man. It really is, like, especially when you can knock down, like, let's say if you're fighting against 3 enemies and you knock down 3 enemies, and then you could all combine to do a final
All-out
attack. And yeah, I mean, pretty much it's like a one-hit kill as soon as you do that. So it does make you feel pretty good for being turn-based. Makes you feel like pretty powerful for the most part. So I do like that, and it's refreshing. But anyway, I'll get to what I was about to say in a minute. But everything else, here's the thing though. Everything else I think is average at best.
Okay.
I think I like the combat the best. I think the combat, to me, and I was enjoying going through Tartarus and killing a bunch of shadows because I had a lot of fun being able to mix and match, like, what attack I was going to do next. What is this enemy weak to? All the other stuff I'm not really as into. One, it was hard for me to get. It's really hard for me to get connected with the characters. And I think that has a lot to do. And again, this might sound ignorant, so please forgive me. I'm not in high school anymore, and it's just kind of I'm not as like. I like if I was younger, I would probably have a bit more like relatability. It's not as relatable to me with my character's story right now. Like because it's kind of like a blank slate, right? Like you're supposed to like project your being into theirs. So because they don't have speaking lines. I think the only thing they say in my playthrough is I hear him say persona like one time, and that's at the very beginning when he awakens the Orpheus. Is that what you said? Is that what his name is?
That's him, yeah.
That was like the only time. Other than that, like, I mean, he doesn't talk, so it's like, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's plenty of other games that do that pretty well. Like that Fallout's a good example of that. Besides Fallout 4, Dragon Quest is another one. I mean, like, it's always a silent protagonist, and it can be done decently, you know. So that's not really an issue. It's just like everything else. My problems with this game are the same problems that I have with Hogwarts Legacy. They give you the illusion that you can participate in some of these classes, but you can't. And I kind of would like to participate. I'm not saying I want to take quizzes and shit. That's not what I'm saying. But like, let me do
but
like
you can take quizzes.
I think you can. Yeah. Like, and I've had like a couple teachers, like, they'll call me out and like, hey, what do you think about this? And I've got most of the answers right. I think I only missed one, and it was something about, I forgot what it was. It was like, it said it's like A, B, and C and D, and it has a bunch of spirals on the screen, and it said which one of these cannot be used in like a mathematical equation. And honestly, I didn't know what the hell. They all looked.
Those are some new questions.
Yeah, I was like that. They all look kind of similar to me. So I'm just gonna pick A, and then I was wrong. I think it was like D or something. And I honestly, I couldn't tell you what the difference was between the two, but they said it was wrong. So, but I would have liked to maybe like have. I know I'm probably digging too deep here, but maybe if they had like more like projects that you could do, like maybe you're heading a project in a class and you have to collect materials to make this project or something like that. Or maybe there's a specific type of enemy you have to kill to get something for this project. I think that would be really neat. And I don't know if they do that later on the Persona series, maybe not, you know, but I'm just kind of like thinking how I would personally make it better, make it a bit more intricate and maybe not immersive. I don't want to go that far, but like something like that. Because I feel that I feel like they could do something with that. And for some reason, every game that has like the school feature, it's such an afterthought. Like, yeah, you can join clubs and stuff, but it's not like, for instance, like I'm part of the track team, right? It'd be kind of cool to be able to do like a race. Let me be in a race. I think that would be cool, man. And hell, maybe if I win the race, it gives me like a buff in combat. Like it makes
Mhm.
my like speed, my endurance. Maybe I can dodge things a little bit quicker. Now I'm not saying that like they kind of do that. I'm rambling here. I'm sorry. They kind of do that a little bit with like, you know how you can get close to certain people in different clubs and sports, and that kind of makes like your bond stronger with them. That can
That's
give you,
right.
that can help out with abilities. So they kind of do that in a way. But I think it'd been kind of cooler if they let you do that stuff. Like if I'm taking a cooking class, maybe I can get to the point where I'm really good at it, where I can start making my own potions or something. Maybe you can do that. I don't know. But right now, just right now, I don't really see that system in place. So I'm assuming it's not there, but it could be. I mean, I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up, and then you can kind of tell me a little bit more what
Mhm.
you know, and we can go back and forth. But
No, I want
um,
you to keep talking about the story because you started, saying about how the first hours are, first
yeah.
minute is, and then you didn't
Oh,
elaborate on it. What is it?
well,
How did you feel
we
going forward?
I think the reason why I haven't mentioned the story is because I feel like it hasn't really gone anywhere right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Okay.
like my character joins Seas. I know I'm part of the group. Like I said, I've been in Tartarus like 4 times. I'm on floor 22. I can't go any farther though because there's like blocks up in front of the staircase, so I can't go up in that. I'm still waiting for that. I've like went to school for like a week and the shit's still blocked. I'm like, what the hell is this? So I just want to fight, man. I just let me be a beast and let me keep going up the freaking floors, man. I can kill everybody. Anyway, so
Okay.
anyway, so like I'm doing like literally everything else I don't want to do. And like I'm working part-time at a fucking cafe, and I'm making a decent amount of money, but I have to. I have to do that shit because everything's so damn expensive that I have
Yeah,
to
that's
do
right.
it. I have to work because it's like $2,000 for like, or 2,000 whatever it is
Yeah.
for like a pair of shorts or something or whatever. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like I was like, so you have to get a job, and so I just feel like I'm doing the shit I'm doing in real life. Like I don't have money. I have to work, and so it's
Oh man.
I can't even do what I want to do, Jan. That's what I'm
Yeah,
telling you. So anyway, but I say all that and say it. That's why I haven't mentioned the story because honestly, I met the boy one more time. Oh, I met the unknown boy one more time. Like I'm almost at a point. I don't know if you remember. There's a part in the story where a full moon is coming, or at least the first full
Oh
moon
yeah.
is coming.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't got. I think I'm like a couple days out from there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he comes into my room in the middle of the night, little weird bastard, during like during the dark hour.
Dark hour. Yeah.
He comes in there and he's like, full moon's coming, something dangerous is coming your way, and he's like very vague about it, and then he's just like, I'll be back when it's done, and it's like, what the hell does that freaking mean? Like his vague ass, what are you, Dobby or something? You just say something and just leave. And I don't know. And then there's one more thing I was gonna mention. What was it? It was something else. I don't remember what it was. I don't know. It'll come back
What
to
was
me.
it
But
pertinent to?
I don't
Okay,
remember.
never mind. Yeah, it's
It was
whatever.
something. No, it was. Oh, I know what it was. I know what it was. So is his name Junpei?
Junpei.
Yeah,
Junpei.
that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. He gives me a game, an online
Right.
game that you can play, and I kind of held off from doing it because I'm like, I don't really
Oh
care.
no, you
Whatever.
totally should do that.
So I waited like 2 days in game 2 days, and I was like, you know what? Screw that. Like it's on a Sunday. I'm gonna play this game all day. But see, it takes so much time out of your day. That's why I didn't want to do it because I'm like, dude, I got work. I got
Work. I
I
can't
got shit.
slack, all right?
I got shit to anyway. So I play the game, and there's some weirdo. I've been trying to watch my cussing, but there's some weirdo fuck that's trying to talk to me on the game. And he's saying weird shit to me. He's like, apparently it's a female, but
It's a woman, yeah.
he's talking super creepy, like or she's talking
You get
super creepy, I'm so lonely and it's so nice to play with you. It's like, dude, it's a freaking predator. How can you not tell?
dude,
They can't even
you
spell.
dude, you have no clue how right off your mark you are. How right on your mark you are. You just keep on, please. If you're gonna keep playing this game, keep hanging out with that person. It totally
Okay.
pays out.
Okay.
It's yeah.
But anyway, so I'll kind of end my first. All in all, I'm having a decent time with it. It's definitely I'm definitely never gonna come onto the show and sit here and say the game is trash because it's definitely not trash. I know how important this series is to people, and it's not a bad game at all. But yeah, the story is not really doing it for me unless it just picks up majorly.
I mean, it's very slow at the beginning. I'll give you
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I'm not. It's whatever. I don't need to have explosions, but I would like to have like stop limiting me and let me do some more combat. I want to get
Mhm.
stronger. I want to be more powerful. I want to combine more personas. That's what I want to do. And I feel like they're kind of level gating me right now, where I can't do what I want to do. But again, that's just me bitching now. But it's a decent experience. I'm having a good time with it. Will I continue to play it? I would hope so, but I don't know. So anyway, that's all I can say about it. So I'm sorry. I know it was a lot.
No, it's. I mean, I'm actually
I'm
very glad
glad
to
I
hear
can
what you
I'm
got to say
glad I
about
could
it.
make you I'm glad I could make you laugh a little bit though.
No, I mean that was. I mean, I just realized in a second what happened. I mean, what kind of game I recommended to you, right? I
Hmm.
recommend to Dylan the game where you fucking gotta have a part-time job so you can sustain your fucking combat, like teenage
Hmm.
combat group.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, no. So the thing about this game is that it's time management, right? So pretty much you got a week or a month or whatever. uh I'm gonna do a slight spoiler for you just so that
Okay.
I can. So what happens in a new moon is that a huge shadow comes. That's all I'm gonna say. And they're pretty much the bosses, like the main bosses, and you got to be ready for them. So the entire cycle, right? Every month, so every time a new moon comes out, while you're waiting for a new moon, you got to get ready. You're grinding in Tartarus, you're getting money, and you're meeting new people, right? Because the whole theme of these games is that bonds through people is what makes us stronger, right? What makes us grow as people and
Your
everything
friends are
else.
your friends are your
My
power kind of
friends
deal.
are my power, the most literal way possible. So and pretty much gotta figure out you wanna get to a certain point, right? You say,
Hmm.
okay, I wanna grind up a bit on Taurus. I wanna get in a close relationship with these guys, and I wanna rack up this amount of money. And you wanna do it in 1 month, right? Until the next big shadow arrives. And that's kind of the gameplay loop you're working with. So I guess what you did, you went to Tartarus, a bunch of times. You got to the top floor or as far as you can go, and now you're stuck doing all the other activities. But I mean, I guess we're just different people, but I remember that the first time I was introduced to this kind of gameplay, I was very, what's the word? I was very engaged because I like the lock idea. Like, all right, shit, so this is like my little, make your own venture kind of thing. Because it's up to you who you meet, or it's up to you to which
Yeah.
club you go to, and it's not like Hogwarts Legacy. It's not as you said, just a mock, just kind of it tells you to do your own adventure, but then the adventure is always kind of the same. Because
Hmm.
here, the things you do actually kind of impact your gameplay, your exploration of the Dark Tower, based on who you get close to. You're gonna get different, stronger personas.
Hmm.
Uh, Based on how good you do in class, you might get different. You might get rewarded for doing well in class. Is what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
And that it impacts on your combat. So it all comes down to that. That's what I like. Everything is linked. There's no fluff. Well, there's not much of it, right? So everything is important. Like everything you do there is going to have like a sort of consequence on your gameplay. Not story wise, because the story is always the same,
Hmm.
but every game is going to be different. And of course, it's not like every month is different. They throw stuff at you. There's stuff like holidays, right? Those play a role. Sometimes your friends are gonna, especially during the summer, your friends are gonna organize a trip. They're gonna go on a trip, and all of this kind of complements the story, which, as we said, it's a bit slow at the beginning, right? And the characters are not super likable from the get-go. But from my experience, especially the ones in Persona 3, they really grow on you.
Hmm.
And it's not as much because they are specifically charismatic. I think that just their struggles are very relatable, each and every one of those, right? I feel like besides they're very anime, right? They have a lot of quips like Junpei, you stupid perv, or stuff like that. I think they're very well written. And even their personas, right? Which talk about each one has their own persona, which Dylan hasn't mentioned this, but every persona is a mythological figure, right? Or is based on a mythological figure, right? We have Orpheus. We talked about Angel, which is standard Christian angel, and the specific characters' personas are based on characters that kind of reflect the journey of the in-game character, right? So you have you met with Yukari, right? Kind of one of the first girls you meet, Yukari. She's there's two girls on the team right now. There's a redhead.
Oh yeah,
And there's the
Yukari. Yeah,
one
yeah,
with
yeah. Sorry, Yukari. Yeah, I
yeah,
got you.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So her persona is Ayo, right? And Ayo, if
I
I remember
guess. I don't.
correctly,
I
yeah,
said I
that's what I'm
guess. I
telling you
don't.
right now. So, and it looks like a woman that's like bound with chains to like a face of an ox or something, the face of a cow.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, right?
Yeah. 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 I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's because Ayo is okay. Might not have the details right, but anyhow, she used to be a lover of Zeus, right? And
Oh, okay.
and when their affair is found out, Zeus turns her into a cow, kind of to hide her, right? Which you already have kind of I like the way they designed the character, right? So the character was trapped in the shape of a cow for so long, and so her character is a girl that's like chained to the face of a cow. But of course, I'm not going to spoil you, but the entire myth, it kind of mirrors Yukari's struggles, and specifically her relationship with men that really plays a role. And in each one of them, each of the characters has their own thing going on, and you don't really get that much out of it unless you hang out with them. I mean, the story, is always going to be the same, right? And it's just going to give you the basic facts. But I think it's very interesting how you can get to know better these characters just hanging out with them, right? It's really taking advantage of the medium of video games, right? In another kind of medium, you need to have like, I don't know, a fucking comic book to tell you what this chick has gone through. I don't know. But here it's just like, all right, on my next playthrough, I'm gonna hang out more with this person. And there's not one. I mean, okay, there are a few exceptions, but usually every single character you can build a social link with. That's what they're called, social links. I think is very interesting. There's hasn't been a day, right, an in-game day, where I hang out with somebody and I how do you say, I regretted it. I never regretted it, right? You always get to, even if it's not really gratifying game wise. Like maybe you don't get like an advantage that you wanted to get, you don't get a buff that you wanted to get. It's still very gratifying because you get to hang out with a pretty interesting character. So there's that. And yeah, all what you said about them actually having projects, having to kind of hunt shadows. I mean, that kind of it would be really difficult to
Yeah.
consult with what you're trying to do, which is a time management thing, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I
cool.
understand. No, I understand. And I didn't really thought about it like a time management thing. So, I mean, I know for this type of game, maybe that's not viable, but I just thought maybe that would kind of add a little bit more, especially in the moments where I can't do as much combat. Like that would be something would be interested in. I'd like, for me personally, but then again, games are not made for me. I understand this series is not made for me, but I think I'd be way more into the other things if I could do more stuff like that. And if I did well, it give me more buffs and maybe my charisma goes through the roof. Like, which by the way, so I got two things off of what you said. As far as the characters go, I don't know how I'd like you to tell me, as far as the original and then the portable version, the voice acting in Reload is actually really, really good. It's actually decent. I would put it on the scale of Final Fantasy VII Remake. I would say it's now there's no Cloud Strife. It's not that sarcastic, disgruntled guy, but it's kind of has that same vibe. Like I feel like I hear Aerith and Tifa easily, just like talking around. So like, I think it's pretty decent. Like one in particular is the manager for the track team. I don't know what her name is, but she's
the tan girl.
Yeah. Her voice acting. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, actually, I see her name right here. Actually, I should have known that. But anyway, her voice acting is really really good, and so it kind of surprised me the depth because what happened was is there was a you're talking about building relationships. I think I had asked her, maybe she asked me, can we sit down and talk, like have some coffee or
Hmm.
something? So I go to have coffee with her, and she's kind of telling me about the stresses of, being the manager of the track team while also keeping her grades up, and then she's also doing something else. So she's just like really tied up with a lot, which I can
Hmm.
understand, especially with what I'm going through here lately. It's just a lot going on, and so it felt really like when she was talking about the struggles, it kind of felt way more sympathetic to her calls because the voice acting wasn't anime voice acting that you usually get in a lot of these stuff that one of the main reasons why I can't really get into it as much is because I cannot stand the way they talk. It's annoying. But this felt more like a person. It felt more like one of the things I love about Red Dead 2, and I bring that up. I know. I bring that game up because, and Jan, you'll see when you eventually play it. When you meet that core group of characters, they feel so real. You're walking in
Hmm.
camp and they say hey to you and they tell you about their struggles and you tell them about yours. And it just feels like I love these characters that if anything was to happen to them, I care about them. You know, in this small conversation I had with the manager of the track team, whatever her name is, I thought she was a very compelling person in that moment. It felt like she was actually having a genuine conversation about the ups and downs of trying to like now that you mentioned time management, it makes more sense because it seems like every character in that game is on a clock because they don't it's almost like they always have something going on. It's like when she was opening up to my character, it felt way more sympathetic to her calls, and it felt like she was an actual character and not just another AI that was telling me to go do something. You know what I'm saying?
Very much, yeah.
And like there was one thing where she asked me to go with her the shop for some equipment for the track team or something. I'm like, dude, get the hell. What am I doing? Like, am I gonna get some play from this?
You just
from
might,
this?
dude. You just fucking might.
Like, am I? You know what I mean? But she's like, she wanted me to go with her to go shopping so I can hold shit for her, and I'm like, what is going? Am I the captain of the track team now? Like, what do I get out of this? You know?
Yeah, come on. How can you say no to a face like that? Come on.
Yeah, but so I will say that that was really cool to see that the voice acting is not absolutely atrocious because I thought when look, I was skeptical. I was skeptical when I booted this game up. I was like, look at this shit that Jan's got me playing, man. I mean, that's immediately what I said, and I was like, and like I was mentioning before in my opener when I was telling you my first thoughts, like even the voice acting from the mysterious boy, and I still don't know who
Hmm.
he is. His voice acting was good. It was chilling because I was like, damn, this dude better shut the hell up. He's scaring the shit out of me right now.
Well, I'm
Um,
glad it can get hinted from time to time. I'm
yeah,
glad.
yeah. So yeah, no, it feels real. There was another thing I was gonna say, but I forgot. I'm sorry. But anyway, I'm just saying, like, as far as like having extracurriculars, I get the time management thing. I would have liked a bit more there just to give me some more stuff to do. Because here, this is what I feel like I'm doing. I feel like I'm just hitting. I'm on Xbox. Sorry. I'm hitting A all the time. That's what I feel like I'm doing. You know, I just feel like I'm
Hmm.
hitting A, the select shit all the time. I don't feel like I'm actually doing anything sometimes.
Right.
And I think being able to do stuff for the project would have been cool. Like there was a mission that I did with this older couple and they own like a bookstore or something. And the
Hmm.
husband has like, I mean, bad, like, what he can't remember shit. He thinks he works in like a
Right.
food place. And then the wife's like, we don't, what are you talking about? We own a bookstore. And the dude's over here like, I smell some good fish cooking in the kitchen. And wife's like, no, we're in a bookstore. I do a quest where they were saying something about a tree that was
Yeah,
growing at the
Persimmon
school.
tree.
So I go back to the school and I grab a leaf and I give it to him, and just to grow a bond with them. And it was a good moment because this guy can't remember shit, but he remembers just one tree, and I don't know the real significance there.
Uh,
But
I mean,
it's got
you're hanging
moments
out
like
and
that
you
I like.
figure out.
Yeah, it's got
Yeah.
good moments like that. So it has surprised me. There was another thing I was going to say, but I forgot. I got stuck up on the whole voice acting thing.
Something about social stats, maybe. the charisma, intellect.
Oh, that's what it
Yeah.
was. That's what it was. Thanks for reminding me. So here's something that I also found kind of irritating, but it might be something that gets better as the game goes on. One thing that I found was my social. It's like it's split into like three things. Like it's like there's charisma, there's
There's academics
academic, and then there's another
and
one.
courage.
Okay, I have done quest for all three of those. And look, I've done a lot of stuff in 7 hours, man. I've done a lot of shit in 7 hours, and all of those are still at like rank 1. They have not moved.
Oh damn.
What the hell, man? Why are they not going up? It makes no sense.
Oh, well, I mean, they are pretty. Yeah, you got to work hard to rank them up. That's all there it is. I mean, and 7 hours, you might think, okay, there's a good amount of time, but this is a very long game. You'll have a lot of opportunities to rank them up. I mean,
Yeah.
intellect or academics is worse than them all. You gotta study a few times to get that one up. You gotta
Oh,
waste some
okay.
Sundays, you know. I'm not playing games with weirdos online like you do.
I did that one time. All right, one
I'm
time.
kidding. No. I
That-
encourage it. I'm kidding.
That
I encourage
bastard
it.
creeped me out one time. And I was like, man, I'm not playing with this dude anymore. Does he know where this dorm is at? Is he part of the dark hour or something? Who the hell is this? Whatever they are. Like, it was like creepy as hell. And he
Dude.
couldn't type at all. So he's like, what knows you? And I'm like, what knows you? What are you talking about?
Oh god, I can't wait till you either figure out who it is or if I tell you. Like, I can't wait for that.
We'll see. I mean, I was talking to the wife about it. My wife don't know shit about it. So I don't even know why I was talking to her about it.
Mhm.
But I was like, I'm just on the fence because I'm like, I'm not done with Cyberpunk yet, and I kind of want to go
Mhm.
back and finish that up. But I'm like, I am having a decent enough time that I could probably stick with Persona for a little bit longer. But I'm back and forth, man. I'm back and forth. I'm back. There's a game coming out. I'll talk about it towards the end of the after we get done with the Persona conversation. That's coming out like next week, and it looks fire. And I almost I just don't know what I want to do because there's so much stuff coming out. There's so much stuff I'm playing. I want to check out Persona, but I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough one.
Does
man.
this game have a title? Just
Yes, it does. But I have to. It's called Banished or Banisher. Banished something. I don't remember what it's called. I'll see if I can find the exact.
Oh god, is it the game by the guys who made freaking Life is Strange?
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah, Don't Nod? Is that what it is?
It is Dontnod.
I was surprised I'm surprised it's a Don't Nod game because this game looks.
It doesn't look like it, right?
No, it looks good.
Oh damn! He said it.
No, Life is Strange not bad. I'm just messing.
It's cute. But it's very different.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, it's called Banisher's Ghost of New Eden. They've just released like another trailer for it, and I thought
It's coming out now. Oh damn!
Comes out next week, man.
Holy smokes! Because I mean, I kind of I kind of wanted to play just as a loyalty thing. To have been playing in their games for like 10 years now, but yeah, I mean, this month's stacked. It's gonna be hard.
Yeah, it's probably not likely. I'd like to, but it's also too. They're selling it for $60. They're not selling it for 70. So, not that it's like a big deal, but it's kind of cool that it is a little bit cheaper. They're not charging you $70 for it.
No, yeah, I agree.
But it kind of looks like it's kind of got like a God of War 2018 kind of vibe to it, to the combat, and it just looks fun. Like it kind of has like a Shadow of Mordor / God of War 2018. So I was like, man, that looks pretty sick. Visuals look like stunning. I love that time period it's based in. I was like, man, I don't know. I'm so overwhelmed with games that I gotta see one through. I'm close with Cyberpunk. I started Persona. Like I'm just kind of like so. But anyway, but that's a whole other subject of conversation. But another thing I'll say to go back to the Persona conversation is Tartarus. All right. I think Tartarus as a structure, like is each level, like each like as far as aesthetically pleasing. I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's good. I wish the design of Tartarus looked better. Like
You
I
don't
feel
like how it looks.
no, I feel yeah, it's not very aesthetically pleasing. I feel like
You're talking about the interior or the exterior?
the interior. The
Okay.
interior, like each floor looks the same. It just looks the same.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm
Yeah. That,
kind of it kind of like because the combat is really honestly, it's really good, but it not being in a cool setting, kind of like because I give you a prime example, right? I just saw on Twitter, and you already know this. You already know how excited I am for it. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, man. I'm so excited for this game.
mhm.
I was seeing some combat for it where you're kind of out. Like there was a section of where someone had summoned the Leviathan
Oh damn! I
summons.
didn't see that.
Yeah, so Leviathan's out. So the Leviathan's helping you fight, and someone was playing as Tifa. And you look at the environment. There's like a lake or like a river or something right beside the fight, and it looks beautiful outside. And like you just see all this magic and shit going on. I'm like, dude, this is what I like. I just like cool scenery in my combat. Tartarus just looks the same. Like, do you ever get to leave? Like, do you ever get to have combat outside of Tartarus?
There are, yes, there are, as like the Newman missions, they almost always are set out of Tartarus, but Tartarus is kind of the main place where you fight shadows, and that was a main gripe that a lot of players had with even the original,
Mm-hmm.
like the other versions of the game. But I guess, I mean, straying from it would be, maybe straying a little too much from the main core of the game, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and I agree. It's kind of it does get kind of dull that you always see the same scenery all the time. I mean, the interiors do change once you advance enough floors because like it is divided in blocks. But then
Mm-hmm.
again, then you see like this new scenery, you're gonna keep seeing it until there's the other one. So yeah, no, I agree with that. That is a big kind of not good thing about the game. But it
Yeah.
is what it is.
But the combat is so good that you kind of forget about the
Yeah.
scenery. But at the same time, when I feel like each floor just looks the same, like then you hear the same audio from. Hold on, I can find her name. Where is it at?
Mitsuru.
Why did you say it? I wanted to say it myself.
I'm
Yes.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes. Then you'll hear her same dialogue. There's a treasure chest on this floor. She says it a bunch of times, and it's like, oh, I wonder
Oh
what
well,
room. I wonder what room it's in. Oh, there's a gate here. Oh, let me just
well.
walk
I
up
mean, you
to
should
it.
be thankful because she didn't let you know about chats in the original game. That's a new
She doesn't. Oh,
feature.
she
Yeah,
doesn't. Okay,
she
okay,
didn't give
all
a
right,
shit. Yeah, I mean,
right,
she'll
yeah.
let you know about stuff like if one of your party members got knocked out. But that's
Okay, I got
or
you.
if this floor has like I don't know if you got that far yet, but sometimes floors can have like a rare property, like it can be all dark, or you can start and
Uh,
you're all separated. Crap like that.
no, I haven't got to that point yet. Like, yeah, like I think I don't think I've had any like modifiers, quote unquote.
Hmm.
See, I've been playing Last of Us
No,
Part
that's a
Two,
good name for it. No,
No
that's a good name
Returns,
for
but
it.
I haven't really seen any modifiers like that as much. We've all been together. Now, I will say, I don't know what happened. So I messaged you. So I private messaged
Hmm.
Jan. Like I want to say the day the day the game dropped.
Right.
I had off that day, which I'm starting a new schedule this upcoming week, and anyway, that's a whole other thing. Anyway, so I messaged Jan, and so an issue that I was having was it was like my second trip to Tartarus, and I don't know how it was in the original game. Essentially, you got this big ass staircase that
Hmm.
leads to Tartarus. Right
Hmm.
beside the staircase, off to the right is all your party members. So you see like Junpei's over there, Yukari, and then the leader of the team. I can't remember what her name is with the red hair. You said it
Yeah,
earlier.
Mitsuru. Yeah.
She's standing over there. So you go over there and you have the option to talk to them before you go out on your mission. Well, they'll say a couple, generic lines of dialogue. Junpei's over here like, I'm ready. I'm going to be the leader, blah, 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 bullshit, stuff like that. Well, then he'll say, I think he asked me, like, where do you want me? Is what he says. And he gives you the
Oh,
option.
wow.
I don't know. I like that. He's like, where do you
Mm.
want me? And then you have a couple options. And the two options are stay where you are or I'll think about it. I'm like,
Okay.
okay. So I didn't know which one to pick. So I'm like, I'll think about it. And so I did that. And so then I went to Yukari and she said some stuff. And then she said, where would you like me to go? And again, the same two options: stay right where you are, or I'll think about it. I'm like, I guess I'll just say I'll think about it. Well, anyway,
Right.
I went to go into Tartarus, and I was by myself.
Oh
Neither one of
damn.
my party members was there. I was like, well, dude, how bad could it be? It can't be that freaking hard by
Oh
yourself.
no, don't.
I got, I got, I got messed
Yeah,
up
you got
bad.
hammered. Yeah, I'm
I
sure
got
you did.
messed up. I got messed up bad. I mean, it didn't like I took like 2 or 3 hits and I was a wrap. It's really that game really is huge on having a party. Like it's like, you know what I mean? You got to have your Donald and Goofy. You have to have them. Like you
And you
have to.
don't notice how important they are until they're gone.
Isn't it sucks cuz they're, like Junpei, like he's more of like the in your face like blunt weapon kind of guy. Like he's got a
Mm-hmm.
lot of strength, but he's kind of slow and his
Mm-hmm.
magic sucks. And then Yukari, she's got good magic, but everything else is trash. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
like
You
so
feel like
your
in the original.
character
Yeah, go
is a
ahead.
good your character is like a good mix. And so it doesn't really make sense why I get clapped in 3 hits, but then
Well,
with
strength
them
in
I can
numbers,
go,
right?
I guess.
Especially because I mean, one thing Dylan hasn't said, but I imagine it's like that in the remake is that you gain more turns by hitting weaknesses, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
that's
so if
right.
you
Yep.
have more people in your party, you have a wider range of elements, right?
Hmm.
I mean, of course, you being the wild card, you can have all of them, but having those extra turns really helps, right?
Hmm.
Besides, and you cannot even do an all-out attack if you don't have party members with you, which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
You gotta, I mean, you need to have at least 2 people, or it's not a gang
Do you think it's ever
style
been done?
thing, if you know.
Do you think it's ever been done? Like someone just playing as the main character,
Oh,
not
oh
having part.
man, all kinds of challenges have been done with these games. There's a very prominent one is that they go through the entire game with a starting persona.
Oh my god.
No, people go crazy over these games. I'm telling you.
Hmm. That does not
Uh,
sound fun at all. Why would you do that?
well, out of all the challenges, this one kind of is. But I mean, only if you're really good at it, right? Only if you really know how to increase your persona stats and all that. Because there are ways to increase one persona stats, which is usually useless because the game really encourages you to fuse them into stronger ones. But there's
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, you got
Uh,
that creepy old man. Like when you go to before you go to fuse
oh,
your.
me and
He's like
he
so
got it.
creepy.
Yeah.
He got this big, yeah, yeah, yeah. He got this big long nose, and as you just know, this guy looks like he's up to no good. Why the hell am I doing business with this guy? Why does he look
what
so
a-
evil? Why does he look
what
so
about his
evil?
assistant,
I mean, she doesn't look as evil. That's why I don't mind
right?
doing business with her. But the guy, he looks mean as hell though, with that devious looking smile and stuff. Does he have
Yeah,
like
I
a
know. It's
big
great.
smile in the original games?
Yeah. He looks the same in every game. He's like a every Persona game has a different story, but he's
Uh,
always there.
he's always in them.
He's
Okay,
like
got.
he's like the guiding force,
Oh,
right? Yeah.
so he's like the Sid. He's like the Sid of this
He's the
series.
Sid. He's the Sid. Yes.
Okay, I got you. And so, like, just humor me because I think I was reading into it a little bit. Like, so are any of these games are they connected? Like, is each game connected to the next, or is it its own thing?
um. Well, I mean, okay. So it's kind of the short answer is they are connected. That's the short answer. I mean, some games more than others. They're all in the same canon, that's for sure.
Hmm.
Persona 2 has a lot of characters of Persona 1 showing up.
Hmm.
Then Persona 3 kind of separated itself from it. The online game you're talking about, is it called Innocent Sin Online?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Innocent Sin
And it's the
Online.
center
Yeah,
line.
well,
Yep.
Innocent Sin is the subtitle of Persona 2, right? And the character you
Ah,
talk to, I think her username is Maya, and Maya is the main
it
character
is.
from Persona 2 Eternal
Ah.
Punishment. So there's stuff like that. Then Persona 4, there's a lot of like spin-offs when various characters from different personas kind of meet and all that. So they are connected. They just never meet because each one of them is telling their own story,
Hmm.
basically. Uh, so I don't know what they're gonna do with this game in Persona 3 Portable, which is a portable version of Persona 3, which came out after Persona 4, had a few cameos from Persona 4 characters. So I don't know if they kept those in Reload, but so yeah, they're connected in that kind of way, right? You
Hmm.
don't missing out anything by not playing the other ones, except these little Easter eggs.
Hmm.
That's all.
Are they all kind of centered like the high school experience? Are they all do they all kind of
Uh,
have that same kind
m-
of
Most of them do. Yeah, but Persona 2 is the only one that kind of deviated from that. Actually had, a bit older characters in it, like young adults. But usually it's all about the high school thing. Mainly because from Persona 3 onward, they started doing the time management stuff. And I guess that a school setting really fits that, right?
Mhm.
Having it makes you have like a structured everyday life, right? You go to class in the morning, go bring up shadows in the evening. And also, I guess the characters being teenagers kind of fits into the entire theme of, I mean, these people are pretty much figuring out themselves, right? They're still
Mhm.
growing, they're still not definite people. So them going on this journey, right? Not only soul searching, but of kind of figuring out who they are or who they want to be. Uh, it really fits the theme of the series. So I guess that's why you usually get to play as teenagers.
Mhm. Right. Okay. I got you. So, as a series goes on, I mean, are they? Can you tell one from the other? Or are they kind of like you were talking about? Like they're all in like high school from like 3 onward. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, are they all kind of like similar to how Persona? Because I know you haven't played Reload yet, but assuming that Reload is a lot like the
Mm-hmm.
original, only with a few minor adjustments, better visuals, maybe updated music. Do all of them have that same like high school thing? Can you differentiate one from the other, or do they all kind of run together to they where like you can pick up like for instance, if I finish Reload, I could pick up Persona
Mm-hmm.
4 and play that one just fine with no issues.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, the standard, as I told, the Persona 3s where the series started to deviate a lot, because Persona 1 and 2 are more standard RPGs,
Mm-hmm.
dungeon crawling and stuff like that. There's no dates, there's no calendar. But yeah, starting Persona 3, they started doing this stuff where you manage every day like of your character's life, and they still have that. Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah,
A-
yeah.
And
I
the
was just
com
yeah. I was just
yeah,
saying
the
like, does it
com
have the same like combat,
Yeah,
same
and the
like
combat is pretty much the same starting from 3 onward. It has the one mores, and it's yeah, the fusing personas and crap like that. It's all pretty much the same.
right?
I mean, there are like little tweaks here and there. Like in the original Persona 3, it had this thing that like just little rules, as in if you get knocked out in the original Persona 3, you skip the next turn, right? While in updated versions of Persona 3 and the other Persona 4s and 5s, you do not skip a turn if you get knocked out. However, if you get hit while you're knocked out, you get dizzy, and then you skip your next turn.
Mm-hmm.
On the original, if you get hurt when you're knocked down, you actually get back up, so you don't skip your next turn. It's crap like that.
Right,
Or if
right,
you use a multi-targeting skill, so if you hit a weakness, you get a one more. In the original Persona 3 is a bit more complicated, in which you have to hit every character that you aim for. So if you use a multi-targeting skill, I don't know if you've come across those yet,
Mm-mm.
but yeah, their
No.
skills are pretty much they're like they hit the whole board, right? Pretty simple, right? They're like the like in Final Fantasy, right? You have the fire that hits one guy, you got fire that hits two guys, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I,
right,
I
right.
don't remember, but if you decide to hit more than one guy, you have to knock out each one of them to get the extra turn. So it's really small things like that. But besides that, yeah, you can pick them up very easily, like no problem.
Right, right. Would you say the story? I mean, this is obviously a personal question for you
Mm-hmm.
because I know this game means a lot to you, and that's to you guys watching. That's one of the main reasons why we decided to watch it, to play it, and talk about it on the show here because it's. I know it's important to Jan. I know this is one of his like magnum opus type games.
Nice.
So but like as far as like you personally, is this story? Would you say this story sets itself apart from 4 and 5, like as far as like because
Oh yeah.
obviously this game means so much to you, so like there's got to be some crazy shit that happens later on in the game that hits you emotionally or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
It's got to be like that good to put it over 4 and 5 because I've heard things about 5 that are pretty good too. I've heard 5 is decent. So
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, how do you feel about that? I mean, would you say 3 is better than 4 and 5 as far as story
Well,
goes?
all right. Short answer, yes. Short answer, yes. I think that 3 has this thing where the main theme, which as you might have picked up on, is death, mortality, the eventuality of death, all the kind of stuff, right? Like time waits for no one. It brings us together. It always comes. No matter what. And I feel like this is the only game since Persona 3, right? Because we're taking 3, 4, and 5 apart, since like they have the same structure. Is the only one where it managed to get to the point where each one of these aspects, right? The social links, the story, and all the little interactions you have with the game kind of link together with this one theme, right? Every character you meet, right? They talk about their struggles. It always comes again to that. It comes to, what's the point of living? What do you make out of your life? And how do you handle the stuff? How do you how do you manage the idea that eventually you're going to be ground on the earth, right? With the other games, they pretty much go with their own thing. Each one of them has a different theme. Persona 4 is more kind of mystery thing, so the whole thing is about the importance of truth, and the human perseverance to go against odds to reveal that truth. Or Persona 5 is more of a that is the one most people like, and I like it a lot. If it weren't for 3, 5 would be my favorite. 5 is more about justice, because you play as these outlaw thieves, right? They fight in the shadows of law to to kind of change the hearts, literally, of corrupt people, corrupt politicians, or teachers and stuff like that. So each one of them does their own thing. I think Persona 3 is the one that did it best, and I think it's the one which the characters are just better defined, and each one of their journeys kind of they all feel accomplished. In the other games, some characters that kind of feel like they fulfill their own role in the story, and then that's it. For the entire draft of the story, they're pretty much archetypes, right? They're pretty much just standard anime characters, each one with their own trope. While here, they constantly evolve. Like every character is not the same. Like you meet them as one person, and then you get to the end of the game as a completely different one, right? I mean, I might be wrong, but this is Persona 3 is the one that made me feel like that.
Right.
Yeah, and Persona 4 I think is the worst offender. I mean, there's a lot of Persona 4 is very acclaimed, but I think it's also because it's very easy to like. Because a lot of these characters are very cheery, very tropey, right? And you do a lot more cheerful stuff in a game. You go to the fucking beach. You get in your fucking scooters. You go on trips. You mess around a lot. You get to like a student. You go to the school festival. You make a little makeshift concert. It's more, that is the theme of the game, like spending time with your friends and all that. But it comes at the expense of me thinking that these characters are a bit too anime, like too tropey. They don't feel like real people at some point. They just feel like images on a screen that tell me that they just love hanging out with me and how great I am and how I'm the best dude in the entire world. So
right.
So there it is.
Okay. No, I got you. No, it's again, this is coming from somebody who's completely new to this series, so I just didn't know if one really swayed too much from the other. I knew all of them had the turn-based combat, but I just didn't I didn't know if it was a canonical thing. I didn't know if any of them were referenced. I don't know if there was characters that carried over. Like let's say characters in 3 that went over to 4, or 4 to go to 5, or whatever. So no, that's interesting stuff, man. No, I appreciate you lighting me on that. It's I know this series means a lot to a lot of people. I can see it clearly means a lot to you, especially with this game. So I think for your sake, if nothing else, I would love to stick with it a little bit longer. And get more of a deeper, what were you gonna say?
I'm just gonna say, I'm not gonna force you, but I am gonna tell you that you're not gonna regret it. If anything else, even if the game itself may, you may not like it from time to time, I think just for the story, just for experiencing it and experience it through the game, right, as the game intended, it's really worth it. It's an experience.
Okay. No, I'm glad you're saying it, and that's the thing. I mean, like I know we have differences of some differences in games, but I mean, like I get what you're saying completely. I mean, I'm 7 hours in. I'm not like super far into it. It's just I did good to put 7 hours into it. So but I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it from the start of how these characters talk and how they react, where they feel about as lifelike as they can be without it being like overly realistic. You know what I mean? Because like that wouldn't really
Mhm.
work for this type of game, and I wouldn't really want that anyway. Like, this isn't meant to be Red Dead. This isn't meant to be GTA. This isn't meant to be any of that. It's supposed to
The
be
Last of
Persona,
Us.
and Last of Us. It's not supposed to be like that, and so I dig that about it, and I'm surprised. Honestly, if I hated it, I wouldn't put 7 hours into it. I don't feel like I've been too pressured to play. I will say yesterday I was kind of like, man, I got to put a little bit more time into this game because I want to be able to talk about it to Jan, even though the story just wasn't doing it for me at the time. I was like, that was like the only time where I felt like kind of, I better get into this game. Like I felt like not a chore per se, but I was like, damn, I got to get into this game for the show, But as I was playing it, I was having some fun. I was having a good time playing it. Honestly, I wasn't
Awesome.
hating my time. And by the way, despite what Jan might say on the show here, I don't hate and I don't dislike turn-based combat. Matter of fact, I've been a pretty big champion of it. I'm just not really as into it as I used to be because there's not many games that I'm into that have it. But I've told you from the jump. I've said it, and I know I've said it, that one of the things I love about Final Fantasy VII Remake's combat is that it incorporates the turn-based with the action RPG combat. I love that. I love being able to stop time and think accordingly what my next step is, what ability I use, what magic I use. I love turn-based in that front. I just don't play a lot of games that have that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I am a fan of it. I love the gameplay and I love being able to it's so satisfying to be able to hold L1 or hold LB if you're on Xbox in Persona 3 and it comes up, it shows me what what my enemies are resistant to, what they're weak to, being able to find the right spell, cast it, and knock my opponent out and then come in with a finisher. You know what I mean? There's nothing more
Mhm.
satisfying than that. And I'm having a good time with it, man. So I appreciate the recommendation, and hopefully I'll stick with it, and we can talk more about it in a future show. At least kind of give my final thoughts on it at some point, if that's okay with you. If you, I mean, because I wouldn't,
Definitely.
I don't think I would be. I'm not against coming back and talking about it some more. I just think I hope the story open, and from what you're saying, I hope the story really picks up for me so I can talk a little bit more about that. Because right now I feel like it hasn't moved since like hour
Yeah,
3.
yeah, it depends how fast you go through it, right? Because you get through the days fast. And I think that once you get a routine, right now you're still discovering the game. You're joining clubs, shit like that, meeting new people. On some point, the game is not gonna have so much new stuff for you to throw. You're just gonna get to a routine, right? You're gonna figure out your weeks and events. Go, okay, like on Monday I got fucking track. On Tuesday I got suing. I don't know, some crap like that. On Wednesday I'm trying to bag that 10. So, I'll have to hang out with her, maybe buy her a present before. On Thursday, I mean, I gotta go to Tartarus eventually, right? So let's go there. You start playing like that, and the games start going through way faster. The first time I played my first Persona game, right, where I started playing like that, it started getting hypnotic, right? It really started to draw me in. And I remember it was a summer, it was August, and it would happen that this is the only time it ever happened to me. One of the few times where I would check the time, it was fucking 4 a.m. I was like, dude, what the fuck, right? And at that point, I'm gonna play for 2 more hours until the sunrise, right? And then
Right, right.
I'm not gonna do at that point, right?
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, it can, especially when you get into that groove. Yeah, I've noticed it. I've noticed it from the time I've been able to play it. One last thing I'll ask about it, and then we can kind of finish up the Persona talk because I would like to take the last 30 to 40
Uh-huh.
minutes of the show to talk about some other stuff with you. But unless you got more things about Persona, we can talk
I
about.
just I
I
just
just
have one question, one small question.
All right. Well,
How did
first, let me
go
ask
ahead,
you
go
this
ahead.
first. Let me ask you this first. Just because I just don't want to get off track as far as the time management goes. How many is this whole thing like? Because I've noticed, right? I think I'm like in May right
You
now,
start in
April or
April,
May.
yeah. You start in April.
Um, is this like a full school year or is this like multiple school years? I
It's
just wanted to
one
know about that.
it's one school here.
It's
I
one.
think
Oh,
it
okay.
tells you,
Okay.
at least in original, it tells you in the beginning. Like
It
it has
does.
like so there's like a text scroll, and among the things, it may not be there in the remake. There's like
No,
a
I'm trying
text.
to think. I don't want to sound ignorant because I don't know. I can't remember it saying that. I didn't know how long this year.
What it's I mean it's not, it doesn't tell you right away. It just, it gives you, another speech about time, right? And then eventually it says, to you, right, who decided to oppose fate or whatever, you will be given 1 year.
I
It
think,
says something
yeah,
along those lines. Yeah,
yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah.
so
Okay.
it's 1 year.
Okay, I got you. All right. What's your question? I'm sorry. I just wanted to ask that before I forgot.
Oh no, that's a really good question. I was gonna ask you. So there's one thing about this game specifically, and this one Persona game has that no other game does. How did you feel about the way people just summon their personas? How did you react to that?
Summon their personas.
Yeah, but freaking.
Oh, like putting the gun to their head. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was, yeah. Well, you know what? I don't know. It didn't really. I thought it was weird because there's an opening
it is
cutscene.
weird,
There's an
right?
opening cutscene with, and I think at the time you don't know her name, but you can honestly tell it's Yukari,
Uh-huh.
and she's in her. I guess she's in her dorm room, and she's got a gun
Yeah, and she's
up to her
trying to,
head,
yeah.
and I was like, "What the fuck is he about to have me play? Like, what is
Yeah,
this?"
I mean
I
that's
was
a
like,
pretty, but it's a pretty cool misdirection. You gotta
Yeah,
admit.
yeah, I
Mhm.
did. I thought it was so weird, but then like I obviously you know what that is later on, and which is still kind of weird. But um, it didn't really like weird me out too bad. Really, it was that opening cutscene. I was like, am I about to
Yeah,
watch my like commit suicide? Is that how the game starts? Holy shit, it's a dark ass game.
imagine.
I like dark games, but I was like, damn, that'd be like that's a bit dark for me, and I love blood and gore and guts and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, it's a shocker. It's a shocker, but it's not. Yeah, the game kind of does get, especially in its final hours, it does get pretty dark and pretty gloomy.
Good.
But I'm not gonna spoil too much.
Good. Yeah. No, I'll
Uh,
definitely check it out, man. I appreciate you bringing it to my attention, and you know what? No, that tears it. I would at least put another. I would at least put another 7 hours into it.
let's
Hopefully, before
fucking go,
we
dude.
do our next show. Our next show, we're gonna have a guest on though, so I don't know how much I'll be able to talk about it, but we'll see.
That's cool.
All right. So, unless you have another specific thing about Persona, I got a couple things I wanted to bring to your attention, and I'm gonna start off small, and then we'll kind of get into bigger stuff. So there's been some big news this week about one of our favorite franchises, well, favorite series, right? The Last of Us. Been some pretty big news about that. Neil Druckmann confirmed The Last of Us Part 3 is on the table. Now it's not, it's not in production yet, still pre-planning, but he said it's a good chance that Part 3 is happening. How do you feel about that?
Hell, yeah. I mean, how could I feel? I'm ecstatic, especially since, I mean, one thing, no matter how you feel about Neil Druckmann, right? No matter how you feel about him, you gotta respect the way the man treats his franchises, right? He treats them with
Uh-huh.
respect. He never does, like spin-offs. He never does sequels just for the sake of doing sequels. And even he said it, right? You may not like part 2, but you may not like it exactly for the reason, even for this reason, because they wanted to make something different, right? They didn't just want to make another The Last of Us. They wanted to do something else. And when Neil Druckmann was asked about part 3 a few years ago, he said, "No, we're not working on it. We want to make sure that if it ever happens," he didn't say yes or no. He said, "If it ever happens, it's because we have a story to tell."
Mhm.
And I was bummed out back then, but I accepted that answer, right? He doesn't
Mhm.
just want to. He doesn't want to cash in, right, from the popularity. He says, "I'll make part 3 when I think of something that this prodigal child of mine, right, the series deserves. If I feel like this is a story that's worth to be told in The Last of Us, then I'll make it."
You
And
sound just like Neil Druckmann. If I close my eyes, I can hear him right
now,
now.
I'll take it as a compliment. But when he said that it's
Yeah,
on the
don't.
table,
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
but
So go ahead.
but when he said that, I was like,
Mhm.
this means, I see, you might be worried, right? You might be like, oh, how is it gonna be? I'm not, because the, I trust him, right? I trust
Mhm.
his writing team, that they did not, they might botch it, but at least I know that their hearts are in the right place.
Right.
What
Right.
about you? You seem a little bit more, reluctant.
So, all right. So, no, everything you said, I agree with 100%. I am intrigued. But I'm worried. I am worried
What
because
worries you?
what I think what worries me most is like because he was I don't know if you watched him like
I haven't. No, I haven't seen the
so
thing.
he does kind of give his thoughts about like how each game ties into the next, and he said obviously with part three, it's going to be just as exciting as the first two, and it's also going to tie into part two. So obviously, like it makes the gear start turning because I saw a guy on YouTube. You know, it's a guy named Luke Stevens. I don't know if you've
Oh,
heard of
I
him,
know
but
about him. Yeah, yeah, of course.
yeah, I
He's
don't
cool.
really I don't really watch a lot of his videos. His videos are super high quality, by the way. But he did
I
like a
agree.
live stream, and he was talking about like his idea for how they could do Last of Us Part Three, and I kind of
Hmm.
agreed with it. And he was saying that like Last of Us Part Three could start out with like another character, obviously, in like another community somewhere, and you're with them for a little while. You go through a few things, and then all of a sudden, that community is like under attack. And you come to find out is Joel and Tommy and a few other people
Oh
are attacking the
shit.
community. And I was like, could be. And then the game switches, and you play as Joel and Tommy for a little while, or you play as Tommy, or whatever they wanted to do it. And I thought that'd be interesting. But then I started thinking, I'm like, but how does that tie into part two though? Because
Hmm.
Neil wants obviously, and probably the whole team, they want to be able to link part two with whatever their future Last of Us project is. So I'm interested in a sense because here's the thing, Jan. I'm gonna be honest with you. Okay,
Hmm.
I like Abby. I do. I, I I like her better now than I ever have. And by the way, fuck all you guys who were like threatening Laura Bailey and her newborn son when all that shit was going on because of the
Dude,
character she plays. Y'all are pieces of shit. Like, I mean, how can you do that to that poor
dude, you know
lady?
what's
And
depressing? You know what's
whoa,
depressing?
what's that,
When the actress who's gonna play Abby in the TV show was revealed,
dude?
people recommend her. Okay, delete your social media right now because you're in danger.
In
That
danger,
is insane. The
in
fact that
danger.
that's this is so stupid and ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
terrible. Really terrible. Moving
Separate
on.
the actor from the character. But anyway, I like Laura Bailey. I love her. I like her performance as Abby. I don't want to play as Abby again. I honestly,
I don't know.
I have, I have zero interest in playing as her ever again. I don't mind if she's part of the story. You come across her. Maybe you even got to work
Hmm.
together. Maybe even got to work together with her at some point or something.
Hmm.
I don't want to play as her. I want to play as Ellie or I want to play as Tommy. I would love
What about
either one of those.
Lev?
Uh,
Because I think it makes more sense we get to play as Lev.
It makes more sense, yes.
Yeah.
Would I be against it? No, I don't really want to though. I would rather play as Ellie. For me, I'd rather play as
Hmm.
Ellie or Tommy. It's nothing against Lev. I thought Lev was fine as a character. You know, neither here nor there for me personally. But I would prefer. I just feel like because I feel here's the thing. I think something Neil Druckmann has also been very vocal about. And this guy is like very artistic when he talks. You can tell this guy's like a
Hmm.
huge geek, you know. But one thing he talked about is that like the Last of Us at the end of the day is about Joel and Ellie at the end of the day. And
Oh.
even though Joel is dead, and obviously by the end of part two, obviously, um, I feel like Ellie has to still be a big part of part three. So
Oh,
I know
definitely.
for a fact Ellie has to be playable at some point. I don't personally want to play as anybody unless they have something to do. Like if I got to play with Tommy, even though that's not Joel, it's his brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's in that like dynamic. It's in that
Hmm.
group. The only thing I'll say with that is I just feel like, and we've had the conversation, and I was hoping to have a conversation with Emma from Once Upon a Quest about this shit, but she's gonna take like 5 years to be part two. So I don't know when we're gonna ever have it. But one of the things that we've talked about several times, and we don't have to go into it again because we've done this, is the fact of I feel like they really botched Tommy's character towards the end of
Hmm.
that game. Tommy was I get it. He was angry. And obviously we make decisions when we're angry. But the fact that he was going to Ellie and pretty much pushing her to go after
Oh
Abby
yeah.
after she's already
Hmm.
settled in, she's happy with Dina. They got a baby.
That was terrible.
They're
Yeah.
living like the dream. That's what we all
Yep.
want. To live with somebody we love and care about and have a kid and it's quiet. And
And
then
it's
you're
in a
gonna
farm.
yeah, you could right, right.
Hmm.
They got food, right? In that world, it's so hard to be able to have consistent meals. She's comfortable, she's happy, and you're over here like, you should go out there and go kill Abby. She's been seen close by. It's like, I don't feel like Tommy would do that. It just doesn't seem like something
Yeah.
Tommy would do. And so I just don't know how that works in part 3. But I did like the concept that Luke Stevens had said, though. I did like that about the community and then Tommy and Joel. I did like that.
You know, I don't know. No, I mean not to shit on that, but I don't know how much that is actually going to happen, because hear me out. Another thing that Neil has said a lot is that each one of the games in The Last of Us, they have like a core team. In part 1, it was love, right? And the things we do for love, and how love kind of can mend someone's humanity, as it did for Joe, like through Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
And part 2 was about the other side of the coin, was for hate, right? Where how much hate, specifically like the hate that Ellie felt towards Abby, and Abby felt towards Joel, how much it can just break completely a person, it can break apart a community, a relationship, where you got, right? And that is reflected pretty evidently in part 2. Even with Tommy, as you said, it might not have been in character for him. I might even agree with that. I haven't really given it too much thought. But I think that's what they were trying to convey, right? Just Tommy, by that point, by the end, is just a husk of a man, right? He's just thinking he has a one-track mind, one thing: kill Abby. Get anyone who wants to kill Abby to kill her with him, right? And because of that, I imagine the part 3 is going to have a different theme. So then going again with the whole thing, watch out for your consequences, right? He's not going to. I mean, it might be. I don't know. Who am I, right? But I feel like the main in part 2, you said, right, where each part in The Last of Us is gonna be tied to the last one, right? Where part 2 was tied because everything happened because of that one choice Joel made at the end of part 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of the key factor. So now I'm wondering what from part 2 is gonna be the prime force pushing all of the plot in motion in part 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's definitely plausible. And what Luke described is a plausible plot, but I feel like they wouldn't do that. I feel like they really want to do what part 2 did and kind of work on something that already happened instead of adding something in a flashback where.
Yeah.
So there's that, and I don't know. They can do 2 things with Ellie, and I'm rambling here, so you can stop me if you want. But you
No,
were
it's all
talking
right.
about You're talking about playable characters, right? Well, I think Lev is the most obvious option, right? Just like Ellie was with Joel, Lev is to Abby, right? So it makes sense. And now we see Lev's journey. Now that we've seen Abby's. But it is true that Ellie will probably play a part. Now the question is, she needs some soul searching. Let's be honest. I need a part 2. She's not doing too well, right? Her mind is not in the best place. She gave up everything to kill Abby, and in a last ditch effort, she doesn't. Not that she can't, she doesn't. He actually lets her go, right? So I feel like she has, she got to talk a bit with herself, right? Come to terms with some stuff. So now I wonder, do you get to play as her, going through all of that, or do you get to play as a third party, and you see through the eyes of another how she's dealing with all that? Maybe she appears here and there, right? I don't know. I think it can be cool either way. I mean, part of me wants to play as Ellie because you can't love her, right? You can't hate her, is what I mean. But on the other hand, it might be fun to explore like this thing something sequels do, where you get so familiar with a character, right? But in that game, that character feels distant. I feel like it might be worth having Ellie non-playable if it's to do that, to see her in a different light, right?
Right.
To see, I don't know. That's just me.
Well, like he had mentioned again when I talk about Luke Stevens. He had mentioned, because I think someone had put in the comments about maybe in The Last of Us Part 3, and this is disregarding Neil's statements about each one of them being connected. Someone made a suggestion of maybe the next one being in a completely different entire location, maybe like across seas somewhere. And he made a good point that I wasn't thinking about, is that, well, if they do that, it's not what makes The Last of Us so special is the Joel and Ellie dynamic. And even when Joel's dead, Joel is still in spirit. He's still infused in the game. You see that through
all
Ellie's
the way
actions.
part 2, yeah.
So like if they moved it to another country, I'm not saying they could never do, like you mentioned something about spinoffs. I know they don't normally do that, but if they do that, it's going to feel a lot like other zombie properties. I mean, look, listen, you know me, I love The Walking Dead more than anybody. But look how many goddamn spinoffs are going on right now. You got the original show, you got Fear the Walking Dead, you got The Walking Dead World Beyond, you got The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, you got The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. I mean, good God, it never stops. Each show is in a different location. Oh, The Walking Dead Dead City, I forgot one. That's in New York. I mean, you got so many properties that's what The Last of Us is going to feel like. And I think what makes The Last of Us special.
And I really don't want it to feel like that.
Yeah, I don't want it. No, me neither. Like, I'm fine if they go to a different part of the country. But I don't really want them going too far away to the point where Ellie couldn't show up or Tommy couldn't show up. Because I feel like, and I think that's what Neil was saying, that at the end of the day, whatever story that he's got in his head, or maybe he has started writing it down, I don't know. Like, I feel like it has to have Ellie in the center. I know someone had recommended maybe Ellie has another shot to be the cure, pretty much. Maybe she goes and maybe there's another group of the Fireflies, and maybe the last scene of the game is her finally doing what she was planning on doing in the first place in the first game.
Now she has nothing.
Yeah, and maybe she makes another trek across country to get to the Fireflies or whoever's doing it. We don't even know if the Fireflies really too many exist. We know they're still out there, but we know that they're kind of scattered a little bit.
I mean, they're definitely not operating as Fireflies anymore. No. I mean, many of the wolves from Part 2 were Fireflies once.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's interesting, and I'm like I said, I'm skeptical, but I am intrigued. I was so, and like I said, I like Part 2 more, but I'm playing it through for a third time, and I haven't really gotten too far into it. The only thing I'm like maybe 3 hours in. I literally just got past. I just got to Seattle for the first time after Joel got killed, and I don't know, man. It just doesn't feel like the first one. I'm starting to get those same vibes again I got when I played it the first time, where I'm like, like I like Dina as a character. I like Ellie. I just don't know if I want to follow them, though. You know what I mean? Like, I see their interactions in Seattle. It's just not. I don't know. Something just feels off. But I'm a Last of Us Part 1 whore, so that might be what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot of things mixed up into one. I think, as you said, Part 2 is a different beast, right? I mean, Part 1 is really charming because as you play, you see this character's relationship grow, right? In Part 2, you only get to see Joe and Ellie's relationship sparingly while she sleeps, right? There's this whole thing because while you dream, you have these flashbacks where everything is in very vivid, warm color, and she's reliving moments with Joel, and then she wakes up and the color palette gets all gray and blue, and everything is muddled, and the reality is very depressing, very oppressing, right? So on one part there's that. I think that they are different games, so of course, I mean, I agree with you. If I want to like chill, just have play one of my favorite games, and I don't want to I don't know, test myself so much, I play Part 1. Part 2, it takes kind of toll emotionally, I feel. And also, as you said, yeah, I mean, there's just a different dynamic. I for one didn't like too much the interactions between Ellie and Dina. I mean, as you said, I don't mind Dina at all. I mean, I might even like her as a character. I mean, like playing as her in No Return. And and I'm glad that Ellie has her little love story and all that, which really ties in by the end of the game. It really makes you understand how much she wants to pursue Abby, right? How much she's haunted by Joel's visions. So it's cool with all that. I just find their interactions very corny.
It is.
To tell you the truth, when I was first playing the game, and you're on the very first mission with Dina, right, near Jackson, I thought that Ellie didn't like Dina at all. I thought that's the advice they were giving me, because I remember Dina kind of trying to flirt with her, with Ellie. I don't remember exactly what does she say, but she says like something, right? She really, a very clear indicator, like a very flirty line. And Ellie goes like, she like starts like running.
Yeah.
I don't know, the way I react when it's like it feels like unwanted attention, right? That's how you react to unwanted attention. Then just a few hours later, you're in Seattle with her, and you're like, "Hey, babe, can you hold this up for
Yeah,
me?"
that's
Like,
what
what
I was about to,
happened?
that's what I was about to say. Like there's a part where where I think it was do you remember in Seattle when you're looking for gas? So you find the
And you go,
gas canister
yeah,
and you go inside the museum and you're trying to find you go through the garage, you get attacked by some infected. You come out of the garage and as soon you lift the gate up, you shut it down, and Ellie says something like, Dina says, "Thank you, thank you, honey," and then she's like, "Thank you, babe." And that's what Ellie says to Dina, "Thank you, babe." And it feels kind of forced, man. It just
it
doesn't feel
really
as
does.
like like it doesn't. I don't know. It just
I mean, they did
see.
share that
You better
one
watch it,
tender
man.
moment.
We better watch what we say, man. We're starting to sound
What?
like some
What?
politically incorrect.
No, no,
No,
no,
that's
no. We're not. No, we're not. You know why? Because I'm not criticizing the no, 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 no.
no. I
Okay,
know.
no.
I'm just messing with you, dude. I'm just messing.
Whatever. Well,
I know that's not what you meant. That's not what I meant.
but you're
It
right.
just
No,
doesn't
but you're right.
seem.
We have to disclose it. My problem with it is that it's yeah, the way the relationship is portrayed is very unnatural. Ellie goes from at the very least being very aloof towards Dina to calling her babe. Like, that's like unironically. Like, if it was like ironic, I would get that, but it's a very big jump.
Yeah.
And I guess that, as I said, they do share that one tender moment when they were, getting fucking high while Joel was off getting murdered. There was that, but then
Yeah.
that's it. We don't really see them interacting that much at all to warrant this kind of behavior between them. That's my problem with it. I got like serious whiplash the first time, so I was like,
Yeah.
"What? What's
You know,
happening?"
something I noticed too. I think and we can change the subject, but you know, Dina, she's not too
Uh,
bad,
oh
She's not
damn, she's smoking.
she's not too
But
bad.
no, I completely.
I was noticing that a little bit. I was like, I never really
Ellie,
paid attention. I'm
Ellie
like,
has good taste. Ellie has good taste. What can I say? Ellie knows what's up. Although one thing that really ruined her for me
who, Dina
is
or
that, yeah, Dina. Well, not really ruined her. Ruined me being able to see her, in any sort of way like that. Is that at the scene of the festival? The one we saw in the trailer, and then we later get to see it in the game. There's the part where she says like that she smells bad, and then she starts smearing her sweat on Ellie. That's an ick. That kind of
yeah.
rubbed me the wrong way. If she did that to me, that would be it.
I'm
I'd be like, I
surprised.
don't care.
So that's your ick, but the fact that she's got hairy armpits doesn't bother you.
No, well, I mean, okay. First off, it's a freaking apocalypse, all right. Second
She
off,
lives in a community, though. You're telling me they don't have razors or
well, maybe she
anything?
doesn't want to shave her armpits.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
I don't find it. I don't find it super repelling. I don't know. I think I find sweat more repellent than hair, than body
Okay.
hair. Is that what you're asking me?
Okay. That's
Especially if it
fair.
starts smearing on me. It's more the
Okay.
acting stuff. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And she's got this grinner. I'm like, no, I gotta take a shower now. And I just know that water is not easy to come by. So I don't know
Right.
when I'm gonna take my next shower. So I don't know why you did that. That's really messed up. I had kind of a crush on you before you did that. Now it's over.
Yeah. No, it's funny, but yeah, no. I'm intrigued, and I'll definitely be waiting. We probably won't get the game till like what 2031, something like that.
Yeah.
2032.
So tune in for That Head Podcast episode 156. Even
Maybe.
more than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Probably more than
Let's go.
that.
Let's go with two. Let's go with 200.
Let's go
Episode
200.
200 special. I'm
That'll
announcing it
be
now.
that'll be the first
Yeah,
trailer reveal.
that'll be. Yeah, be first. Yes, we're announcing it now. So tune in for episode 200 for reveal trailer reactions. It'll be like a
Yeah.
trailer of 30 seconds of like Ellie looking at the camera and saying, "Let's get this over with." And we'll be
Yes.
saying 5 things. 5 things you missed. The Last of Us geeks analyze the trailer.
No,
5
no,
things
what's
you
gonna be
missed.
even funnier? It's gonna be a scene of like she's gonna be escaping. Ellie's gonna be escaping with like 5
Uh-huh.
survivors we've never seen before. And
Right.
then I think someone's gonna say something along the lines of, "Is that everybody?" And then Ellie's gonna turn to the camera and go, "It's The Last of Us."
Yeah. Yeah.
Um
That's the last.
anyway, so let's move on from The Last of Us because we can talk about this shit all day. So I'll let you talk for a second about what you think about the Silent Hill. Have you finished the
I
Silent Hill?
I haven't finished it. but
Okay.
I can't talk today. I'm at what I'm assuming is the very final chase scene. Is the
Dude, that
chase
chase scene is
is the
trash.
one where you gotta pick up pictures and then it
Pick up
shows you the
pictures.
picture of a door. And at first I thought, the very first time that I saw it, I thought, oh, it's telling me where to go. It's telling me to go to this door. But then I figure out, then you gotta get more pictures, and with every
Hmm.
picture, one lock from the door disappears.
Yeah. Hmm.
And all throughout this all whole time, you got this fucking flower monster chasing you, and every time it gets close, your phone starts, fucking going apeshit, and if you
Yeah.
and I cannot concentrate. I'm like, dude,
Dude,
I
it
hated the
sucks.
H. Yeah, I mean, I thought the chase scenes were very bad before, but this one broke me. This I'm
Mm.
like, you know what? I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I'll just look up the ending on YouTube. I am
That well,
surprised you made it.
honestly, well,
Yeah.
actually, so I got a confession to make. I was the same way as you. I was stuck on it for like an hour, and I have my time. Like this is my last day off. I got a long week. I was like, dude, my wife loves watching me play like any kind of horror centered game like
Hmm.
this, and we were playing it together, and she was enjoying it. I was enjoying it. Well, all the scenes didn't really get me too bad. I think I might have failed like once or twice on the other ones. This
Hmm.
one, I died. I shit you not. It had been like at least 20 times because I was so close. I was so close. And like the flower monster was
Yeah,
like,
I mean, what?
was close enough to me, but I thought I had enough wiggle room to slip by them. And I just
No.
overcorrected and they got me every time. Yeah, dude, I did the same thing. I'm not, I feel like such a pussy. I hate it. But I was like, I don't have enough time. I went for a walk today with the wife. We wanted to go get something to eat. I was like, I'm not gonna be sitting here playing this shit for another hour. So I looked it up. I looked it up on YouTube to see if I could just like do it. Like it was gonna be cheap as hell, but play the video a little bit,
Uh-huh.
pause the video, play a
Right,
little
right.
bit, pause, and do that number. But I was like, this isn't what I want to do. So I just said, screw it. I deleted the damn thing and I just watched the rest of it on YouTube. I wasn't that far off anyway. Yeah, like you say, you're pretty much right at the end. As soon as you beat that, it's like an ending cutscene, and then that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm
um,
not doing that. But yeah, if you ask me what I think about it, well, I mean, okay, I think there's some good effort here. I think that the surroundings are very cool. The environment is very cool, and I like how it changes, right? How it reflects the main character's psyche. It's very Silent Hill 2-ish, but it's pretty much what they're trying to go for. Like, I get it. So the entirety is that Silent Hill is in your head or whatever, or you know, everything you meet is some sort of manifestation of your trauma or some kind of undisclosed desires deep inside your heart, whatever. Um, but I dig that, and I like how they did it. Some things are a bit corny. First off, the voice acting is terrible.
yeah, mm-hmm.
And maybe, I don't know, maybe they did it on purpose because the original Silent Hills had very terrible voice acting too. So I don't know, maybe it's like it's a callback. I don't know. It's very jarring seeing, because the game talks about very serious themes, right? It talks about self-harm. It talks about problems with your own self-image, with your public image, right? It talks about suicide. It talks about abusive parents. It talks about you got very terrible stuff
It
here.
mentions COVID.
It mentions COVID. Oh my god, dude! Can you believe it, dude? People, little humans, are being born that don't know about COVID. We'll be talking about it to them. We'll be smoking our pipes, going, "Oh yeah, I remember those years." Anyhow, COVID, right? And so you got all this stuff, right? Fucking your mom locks you up in a fucking cabinet so she can fuck your boyfriend or whatever. All the while you're just pretty cutting up yourself, and that is portrayed by the silhouette of a woman doing very exaggerated gestures, saying, "You're a mistake. Get
Yes.
out of here." And the main character isn't that much better. She's just, I don't know. She's like how I thought good voice acting. How When I thought I was good at acting or shit when I was like 14, that's how it was. It was like, what is happening? Why does this keep happening to me? Just like that.
Mm-hmm.
But but I like I like the tone of the story. I like it overall. I like the mystery, right? So the ghost of your friend who committed suicide tells you to come to the place where she took her own life to find something. And as you go through it, you start remembering things about her, and you remember how your relationship, your friendship, wasn't as perfect. Actually, it had a very toxic element to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like the plot twist. Again, very Silent Hill 2-ish, very much so. But it was different enough where I could appreciate it. Now, the only problem is that, so that's that when it comes to story. When it comes to the game, again, good environments. There's nothing to do in this game. You're just walking around, waiting for the next thing to happen. And then you get chased by the flower monster, where all you
Mm-hmm.
gotta do is just run away until either he kills you or you somehow find the exit in this very labyrinthian place. And that's it, that's the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why I can excuse it is that one, it's free, and two, it's only like 3 hours short. You're telling me at my final chase scene, I haven't played for more than 2 hours.
Yeah.
So okay, so
That's
that's my
right.
final. So that's it on that. As a Silent Hill fan, I want Silent Hill to be revitalized. This is, dude. If they work a little bit more on it, right? Maybe if they had like a bigger budget, they could have made those chase scenes a bit better. They could have actually hired someone to do some level design, right? So you have some puzzles here and there, right? You're actually engaged with what you're doing. Just maybe a little bit better acting, and I would be happy with it. Not a
Mm-hmm.
masterpiece, but I would be happy with it.
Right.
And so I hope that the next, because they have a lot of Silent Hill projects coming soon, right? A lot of them announced. Besides the Silent Hill 2 remake, there's a lot of them, right? One of them is also tied with Annapurna, which distributes a lot of very cool indie games. So I'm hopeful. I choose to believe. What about you?
Yeah. I think so. I'm not as into Silent Hill as much, mostly because I think I started kind of late. Resident Evil was like my series.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it was kind of the opposite for me and you. I feel like Silent Hill was your series, and then you
That's
got a
right. Yeah.
Resident Evil later. I'll probably get into Silent Hill later. As like I played most of, I forgot which one it was on Xbox 360. Like I think last year I played through most of it. And I don't think I got to finish it. But anyway, I thought it was fine. I thought it was corny as hell. Like I was the same way. I thought the voice acting was atrocious. And honestly, and this sounds like a like a super diss here, but I like Life is Strange. I felt like I was playing Life is Strange with some horror elements, like because it had like the
Okay.
same kind of like it was addressing the more serious like real life things with suicide and mental illness and self image and like all that kind of stuff, which I think is very appropriate. And it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
different that they talk about it in a horror like
Mm-hmm.
subject matter like this. I thought that was interesting, but I could have done without the whole like, ooh, I'm in this scary place. Let me pull out my phone and check Twitter to see how many likes my selfie got. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that right.
I
I
just
mean,
thought that was a bit
it's a bit on the
much to me.
nose.
But I understood though, because like we went to school during the same time. I know you're a little bit younger than me, but we went to school at the same time. We knew girls that did that. We knew people in general that did that, and a lot of people that did the selfies, things like that. It almost, and honestly, I see it now, and I'm not picking on anybody in particular, but I see it now on my own Facebook feed of like certain women that put their selfies up, and it's how many times can I see your face, if that makes sense? Like, you got girls that like post a lot of selfies. Like every day it's a new selfie. It's like your face, it's your face. And if you feel good about yourself, please by all means show out. If you're beautiful, I mean if you feel beautiful, feel beautiful. That's nothing wrong. I'm just saying like, but what's the real reason? Like I look at these comments that some of these girls get, and it's like, this is like borderline creepy with some of the things I'm
Oh
seeing
yeah. Oh
here.
dude, it's
It's almost
terrible.
like they need validation from complete strangers to
Mm-hmm.
feel beautiful. And it's like, and I feel like I've said it for years. Like if you feel beautiful, you don't need, I get it. It's nice to have people like, for me, like I used to be really into bodybuilding. I like doing martial arts. Obviously I liked hearing, people compliment, man, your arms are huge, like things like that. It made me feel good. Like I remember, like when I was single, and there would be like girls trying to flirt with you, and it touches your arm a little bit. It's like, okay, it makes me feel like I'm doing something. You know what I mean? But you don't need validation from random people. And so what I'm saying is, I know I kind of rambled there. Like I get what they were going for, but I thought it was kind of stupid in the context of like she feels like her life is at this point. She's been chased and everything. She feels like her life is threatened, but yet she has enough time to go on Twitter.
Yeah, that is not. Yeah, okay, that's one thing that I didn't address, but it is pretty ridiculous that like, okay, it makes sense that she's drawn to this place because she has some very unresolved things, right? Which we find out. But yeah, as soon as a monster shows up, she should be gone from that place. She even like she texts because she thinks that her friend is there somewhere. She's looking for her. She goes, "There's a monster! Run away!" She just types out about it. She doesn't call anyone. There's just I mean, okay, you can only
she's got service. She got service.
Right?
So yeah, just call somebody.
Call the cops. But okay, you can always throw the excuses that okay, subconsciously she wants to get murdered by the flower monster because it represents her guilt because she feels guilty for her friend's death, pretty much. So you can always throw that in there, but make it less obvious is what I'm saying, right? Make it appear to make sense to me. So to me, who doesn't know the twist yet, make me wonder, right? Because he automatically see there's something's wrong with this chick, right? Besides the fact that she lets on, right? You can see that she's not telling us something. One thing that's very curious is that where is this game set in? Because okay, so there's only English. There are no other dubs. There's only an English dub, which is terrible. And during the live action cutscenes, it looks like it's been dubbed over.
Yeah, it's been dubbed over,
right? Yeah. It looks dubbed over, and I mean. And the only woman we see talking being of Asian descent, I'm imagining it was from somewhere in Asia, right? I mean, it's just. But the various clips, right? The various horror trope notes you and logs you gather refer to the town you're in as Kettenstadt.
And,
Yeah, and it pretty much, and there's a lot of, if you actually read the flyers, but not the text in game, but the actual, impromptu image.
Yeah, it's a completely different language.
They're all in German.
Yeah, right.
So, I don't know, I was just weirded out by that. I was very geographically confused.
I'm the same way, yeah. Like, it did seem a little weird. And then, like, she, I don't know. It's just, they talk about, like, witches a lot in this gameplay. Well, in the 3 hours I played, or 2.5 hours, and I kind of, it almost like it didn't go anywhere with that. Like it's kind of hyping up like witch stuff, and then it kind of like just like like
I don't remember the witch stuff.
Like I saw a couple books and like a couple articles talking about like there was some kind of like there was like the height like in the 1930s in that.
Oh yes. There was like a vexing yacht. Yes.
Yeah, but like the witches were like a big thing, and then like I don't know if you remember too, like, but like there's a section where you're going through the school hallway and you got all these like type beings that are like in the hallway, and you see like there's a desk in the middle of the hallway that says witch. It's like they're like calling this character a witch.
Right.
Like, or whoever's desk that is, I don't know if that's I guess that's Mara's, right, or whatever name
well,
is.
It's oh god, what's the main character called?
Annie? Is it Annie or
Anita?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, I didn't really connect the two things together. I mean, I thought that witch was just just a whatever insult they just threw in. Because again, another thing that makes this game kind of corny, because I mean, bullying is a very real thing, right?
That's right.
Cyberbullying as well. But the way they portray it here is very funny, and it's very, it's just ridiculous, right? These guys that are calling her, witch, stupid, go away.
Yeah, ugly.
Ugly.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I
It was
mean,
pretty bad. Yeah.
I'm not saying that those things cannot be scarring. I'm not saying that. I'm just
Yeah, yeah,
saying
yeah.
that it's very underwhelming, right?
Yeah, it's like so childish, like ugly, fat,
Okay. Like
like
go
dude,
away. And the
loser.
way, I mean, maybe if we didn't hear the voices, we only saw the little messages. There's one point when you enter a room, like a whole hallway, and you see with a bunch of like post-it notes with like full of insults. And I kind of like that because it kind of makes you feel how the character is feeling. Like she's just surrounded by bad comments. And yes, the comments by themselves are pretty whatever, right? But I like the representation more. I don't like it when the characters start gripping their head and they hear voices calling her stupid or whatever. That kind of dampens the impact a bit, you know.
Yeah, yeah. But
Uh,
well, it's a. I don't want to say it's a shame, but um, it was a neat. Like it's been a while since we've seen, especially I know for someone like you who's been
I'll
a
do this
fan of
in
this franchise
years.
for a long time. Like we haven't really got any. I mean, besides what PT, right? Like the whole demo with
Yeah,
Silent
which
Hill
is
PT. There hasn't really been much Silent Hill content. So for that, I appreciate it because it's mod.
mhm.
It's a modern kind of
I,
Silent
I
Hill, but
I
it's a
sometimes
shame
had
it's
to
not going
remind
to have
myself that
anything
this is
else.
Silent
Yeah.
Hill.
Yeah, me too. Because I know about Silent Hill. I kind of know what kind of the atmosphere of these games. But I was kind of like, yeah, it didn't really start feeling that way until like halfway through, and it
Hmm.
actually mentions the events of is it the first game? Did you ever come across that newspaper clipping that talks
I
about
might
the
have.
events of the? It's like a small
Oh,
thing.
that's interesting. Does it? No, I might have. I might have skipped it because I don't
So
remember any of that.
I'll say this, and then I want to ask your opinion about the new Silent Hill 2 gameplay we saw. But
All right,
I
yeah,
want to
let's
end the
talk
show.
about that.
I want to end the show on that. But one thing I was going to say was, and there's an article that you come across in the Silent Hill, the short whatever you call it. Anyway,
The
the
short
thing we've been
message,
talking
yes.
about. You come across an article that talks about some scientists or psychiatrists had come up with a term called the Silent Hill effect, and he said it
Okay.
was based off of the events that transpired in, I forgot what he said, but it talked about fog, and it was like he was kind of
Okay.
comparing fog to like people's feelings almost. Like it was like a really
Okay.
like artsy fartsy way of saying that like fog is a very like overabundance of it. You can't see. It's kind
Mm-hmm.
of like a hazard in your life. And he was kind of talking about like thoughts and feelings can be the same way. And I thought it was kind of interesting about that. It was kind of corny. He called it the Silent Hill
Mm-hmm.
effect, and then he kind of slightly mentioned what happened before, and he was comparing like fog to being like thoughts and opinions and the opinions of others and all that being in your head. It's like a fog. You know what I mean? Like it's dense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like all of that except the Silent Hill effect. I don't like. I mean, that's a bit too much on the nose.
Okay.
If
Yeah,
they
I
just,
agree with that too.
like if they just said, because I mean, of course, you're talking about mental health and all that. So them having an article that makes sense, and I would have liked something like that. Oh yeah, this effect they had, this phenomenon, kind of reminds me, of the one town, the one that's full of fog. What's the name? It doesn't matter. If it was something like that, a bit of a hint, I would have liked it. Calling it the Silent Hill effect is just like, come on, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That's
speaking
like
of
in
Silent Hill, oh,
yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say it is like Clive in FF16 when he
Oh
goes,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know, like the fucking alien Ultima goes,
Yeah. The fucking
what you're
alien.
speaking is fantasy. And it's like, you got that right. It's Final Fantasy, baby.
Yeah,
Fucking into
that's
that.
that's
He
not what
said
he
something
says.
like that.
But he says something like that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he says something like it's not your final something, but it's something. I forgot what he said. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
what you're talking about. He
it's
said
Final
Final
Fantasy in
Fantasy.
time, pretty much, is what he
Yeah,
said.
yeah, yeah. It's Morbin time. Okay, I got you. Yeah, yeah, no. So opinions on Silent Hill 2 gameplay that we've seen so far. I probably already know your thoughts, but just let the people know what do you think about that
It,
gameplay.
dude, it looks rough. It looks rough
Ooh,
as hell,
oh,
dude. It looks. I mean, you know me, just being the fan of the game that I am of the original, I'm probably still gonna play day one and be hopeful to the very last second that it's decent. Even though I don't know if you know the talk behind this game, but it's being developed by a Bloober team, I think, and they're known for making very not great horror games, right? So I'm not gonna get too deep into that. But otherwise, they don't have the best track record, right?
Oh
So
man,
when
that sucks.
Yeah, so when people found out that the Silent Hill 2 remake, I mean, we're talking Silent Hill 2, right? Cornerstone of video game history. You're giving it to these bumbling buffoons, you know. And
Huh.
the first trailers were kind of convincing. When I saw,
Yeah.
I kind of liked them, you know. This gameplay trailer though, the animations look very jank. The sound effects don't sound right. Although one of the developers actually commented on this and said that it's because of the broadcast, because of the trailer, it sounds bad. Like the actual game, they don't sound bad. Whatever, sure, okay.
Okay.
Doing whatever helps you sleep at night, sure. Uh, I don't know, dude. It doesn't look fun.
Yeah. I don't see, man. That's what I'm saying. When I first saw it, I immediately thought of you because I'm like, man, I know how much you talk. You're
I'm
like, you don't.
hurting.
It's not you
Yeah.
talk. It's not you talk about it a lot, but I know this is one of your, one of your franchises, and I'm like, man, dude, the gameplay just. I mean, it looks like trash. It just does. It looks bad. It doesn't look good. It just does. Like I was going to try to think of something like redeemable. Like
Something smart,
I
huh?
would say visually, it looks decent. It's not like it's
It looks decent up until they
RE4,
move.
but yeah.
When they start moving, the illusion crumbles. Because like the models and servers, they look okay. As soon as they start moving, and even worse, when they start interacting with one another, like again, the way they, especially going for a game for like part 2, not to compare, but like the part 2, the way the characters and your character reacts to being hit in different places by different weapons is so natural, right? You're there, you go to here where your character does like this, and the enemy characters don't even react to that. And when they do, it's a very stock, staggering motion. It's like something like that. I mean,
To people who are listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Jan just leaned back in his chair and flailed his arms.
yeah,
Continue.
that's what I did. Yeah, sorry for leaving the audio only people out. And I mean, it's just, dude, this game is supposed to be scary. When those
Yeah.
monsters, the one you see in the trailer, are coming after, you're supposed to be fucking shitting your pants. You're supposed to be wearing diapers when you're playing this game. And the only reason I can see me wearing diapers playing it with the gameplay I've seen is because I'm gonna be pissing myself out of, because I'm gonna be laughing so much. I know. There was a joke there somewhere.
Yeah, I know. I was waiting for it. I was like, "Where's he going with this?"
But I hope, dude, we
Yeah.
cannot stop. They did not give a release window, which means they're still
Yeah.
working on it.
That's right.
Which means they have time to smooth things over, make
Well,
it the
hold on, wait a
best
minute.
game ever.
Get into the wait a minute though. I'm almost positive now. I heard this. I didn't see it, but I thought the developer said 2024.
They did say that.
Okay, so it does say 2024, but there's no time frame. Like it could be like end of the year. It could be like
it can be the 31st of December. And truth to be told, it might even get delayed. So I mean, it's not like an official statement. It might have been, but what I'm trying to say is that it's still up in the air, is what I mean.
Yeah. I really, man, I hope that I hope for your sake, because again, we were talking about. I know Persona.
Oh, dude, your sake too. You're gonna be playing it too. What do you mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
On it.
Well, I mean, like, it comes in phases for me. I love survival horror games, so yeah, I'm sure I'll be all for it but I just like that gameplay. I'm just saying for your sake because I know this is one of your franchises. You know what I mean? I feel like you'd be the same way for me. Like if GTA 6 is absolute trash, you're gonna feel. Yeah, I know you might feel some type of way for me. Like, damn, Dylan was kind of looking forward to the big butt shaking. He was looking forward to that game. You know what I'm saying? But like for this is one of your games, man. So it's like I want it to be good. I want to play it. I want to talk about it on the show and not trash it, even though it is funny when we trash game. But I don't want to like bash this game because all the pieces are there. Dark atmosphere. If they can have some solid gun, dude, I love solid gunplay. If the enemies react to the gunplay, that's even better. Like RE4 react to gunplay. Last of Us Part 2, the way Last of Us Part 2, how they react to when you shoot somebody. Like I need that. We need that in modern gaming. And I know that Silent Hill can give us that, but just what we've seen so far, yeah, it looks very dated. It looks very like Xbox 360, PS3 era, if not before that. And that may not that bad, but at least PS3 era. I really hope it's good. But like you say, I mean, it's a day one. It's a day one at least try. I mean, I feel like I
Mhm.
have to try it. And I hope it's good because I hope the survival horror genre is here to stay, man. Because it has real
Same.
potential. Real like honestly, people be like, oh well, all of them are kind of the same. It's third person. You're in a dark house or whatever. It's gunplay. It's looting. I mean, there's so many games like that. I'm like, dude, there's a reason why they keep making games like this. They're all pretty
Yep.
much. They're all good. They're satisfying to shoot the weapons. They're satisfying to fight the enemies. There's most of the time they have an okay story involved. They're RE4, the story is not as great, but the combat and being badass as Leon Kennedy makes that game. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yep.
golly, it was Jan's game of the year. That's how great that game is. So yeah, no, I hope it's good for your sake especially. But yeah, for mine too. It's
No,
a day
thank you.
one.
Yeah.
It's a day one. It's a day one buy, man. So I'm right there with you. If it's trash, then we'll let everybody know about it.
Oh yeah. We'll paint the town red with
But anyway, I think that's all really the topics I have. I know I want to talk about Persona, the first part of it, and I knew there was a few other extra stories I wanted to get your opinion on. So this was good. I'm glad I could give you some good laughs with the Persona talk.
oh man, it was great.
I like the way, yeah, dude, it was awesome. Like I know some of the stuff I was saying had to sound ignorant. I know it.
Like,
And
that's
that's
about
fine.
no. I was actually feeling for you. Like, I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing with you.
Well, I could just see it like when I'm sitting here, like, man, it's like the combat's so nice, but then I gotta do all this other bullshit, and then when
Sure, I got chores.
I gotta do chores, I gotta go to work. Are you kidding me? But yeah, no, this is a good conversation. Definitely gonna play more Persona 3. I'll play more of it, and I'll definitely talk more about it. But I can't gauge how much though. I just don't
That's
know.
cool. You just be looking forward to that collector's edition unboxing, which
Do it,
should be
yeah.
up tomorrow as soon as it comes.
Good. Watch
So
out
look
saying
forward to
come.
that.
Watch out saying come on camera. We can't be doing that anymore. It's getting a bit.
Oh damn! All right, okay, yeah,
It's
it's gonna
getting a
be
bit weird.
repetitive. Yeah,
With
no.
that being said, Jan, is there anything else you want to say to the people before we close it on out here for the week? It's been a good show.
It's been a great show, and for my last words, I just want to tell people, that time is precious and it's ever so fleeting. So take that chance. Don't let just life run by you. And however that song goes, I will remember you.
That was
Will you remember
beautiful.
me? Yeah, thank you.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. With that being said, thank you guys for checking out another episode of the Deadhead Podcast. Super excited for this year. We have the Arcane Pain Twitch streamer and YouTube channel. We're having him as a guest to come on the Deadhead Podcast, episode 42. Not sure what we're going to talk about. He's a very entertaining guy. I will leave a link somewhere, either in the comment section of this stream or in the bio. I'll definitely post links on our socials so you guys can check him out. He's a really funny guy, very charismatic, and I think we're super excited to talk to him on the show. But thank you guys for watching. As always, don't forget to follow us everywhere. We have all of our links to every social on every respective channel / social media that we have. Follow us on Apple Podcasts. I am currently uploading all the episodes. It's just taking forever to do. It's taken so long. I don't know why. It just is. And I apologize for lack of content. Jan will be with the unboxing. No pressure though, Jan. No pressure.
Oh, I'm excited for it.
Jan should have his unboxing for Persona 3 Reload. I hope to do some more videos this week. I'm starting a new schedule. It'll be working Monday through Friday for the first time in a long time. So it's gonna be a lot because I was working like one half of the week and I had a couple days off. Now I have to kind of space out when I do things a little bit more. But I will have more content on the channel and everything's looking good for the Deadhead 96 channel and the Deadhead podcast. So I hope you guys are around for it. And with that being said, we'll see you in the next one. Stay dead, my friends.